Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Good evening and a happy Good Friday as we are coming to you live from Memorial Gardens for tonight's OHL matchup between the North Bay Battalion and the Mississauga Steelheads. I'm your host, Derek Lindemann, and I'm pleased to bring us Game 5 of this Eastern Conference quarterfinal matchup as the Mississauga Steelheads and the North Bay Battalion are deadlocked at 2 games apiece. You are watching Battalion Hockey here on the Frontline. Pre-game show is brought to you by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Huerta Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit lahuertaimports.com for more details.
And a big welcome to Ben Sargent, who is back here for the pregame show. Ben, team split the games again down in Mississauga with the Battalion winning Game 3 by a score of 5-2, but falling the next night to the Steelheads by a score of 4-1.
Yeah, and we continue this kind of this situation where they're kind of this Jekyll and Hyde team. They've been outplayed by Mississauga, I think, pretty much in all 4 games. But they haven't been able to put the puck in the net, and that's been the difference maker in this series so far. If you look at the 2 wins in Game 1 and Game 3, they scored 5 goals. They put the puck in the net. They put the puck past Leaners, who once again, this guy's 16 years old. He's in his rookie season, and he's doing a great job. And you got to give a lot of credit to Mississauga. Ryan Houlihan, in his comments, gave a lot of credit to Mississauga. But at the end of the day, there's a couple of Achilles heels to this team, and Mississauga is just taking advantage of kind of what this team struggles with.
Well, if you were at the media scrum yesterday with Ryan Houlihan, he's not scared with where his team is. It's now a best-of-3 series with the Battalion still having home ice, with this being basically the first of that 3-game series. They're not behind. They're still ahead in this series with that home ice advantage. How important is it for the Battalion to come out strong tonight?
Well, I think this is going to be the pivotal game of the series. As you said, it's a best of 3. So the person who wins the next 2 games or the next 2 or 3 games is going to win the series. And realistically speaking, I think this is the game that whoever wins here today is going to put themselves in prime position and put a lot of pressure on the opposite team. If you're the Battalion and you lose, now all of a sudden, not just do you need to win your next 2 games straight, but you're also going on the road. So now you need to win their next game in Mississauga. Game 6 is do or die. If you're the Battalion, you win here today, now Mississauga, They do have to defend themselves at home, but you still have that third game at home, and you're guaranteed a Game 7 at that point. Again, home ice advantage, which is going to be big, and we talked about how important that is for the series, but at the end of the day, I think this is going to be the game that's going to decide who's going to end up winning the series.
Well, it is going to be a very important game, and two of those players that are going to have important roles on their respective teams are featured tonight in our Players to Watch, brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
And our Players to Watch for Mississauga, Xander Vecchia comes into tonight's game with 2 goals, 5 points in the 4 games so far. And on the flip side, Kyle Jackson, only 2 assists in the 4 games. Really is looking for him to get things started and needs a breakout performance in tonight's contest.
He's really the one guy. He said 2 assists. He had an assist in Game 1. He also had 6 shots on net, and he had an assist in that previous game. It was from McDonald's power play goal in their last game. But he does have 12 shots. In fact, he is tied for second behind, of course, Kyle McDonald, who leads with 13 shots. Taras Savage is also next, tied with Jackson with 12 shots overall. So these are the guys who are shooting the most. But at the end of the day, Jackson has 0 goals, and he's one of these guys who put up. He was second in points on this team with over 80 points this season. And he just hasn't been there. And we've seen this in the second half of the season where outside of power play opportunities, he just hasn't been able to put the puck in the net. And yeah, assists are nice, but again, assists are kind of a misleading stat because they're not always necessarily you creating that play. Sometimes assists, you do a lot on that play, and that's what you get. Sometimes you don't really do much other than make a pass, and
or the puck just hits you.
Exactly, right? So it's kind of a misleading stat in that way. And yes, he's putting the puck on net, but the question is, what are the quality of shots? He's had some decent opportunities, but look, he's not a guy like, if we look at Justin Hertel, he's a guy who has had so many opportunities and just kind of seems like he's had bad luck. Kyle Jackson just hasn't had that. He's not in that same wavelength where he hasn't had bad luck. It just seems like we've not seen that shot that made him such a big player in that first half of the season. And when you look at like where this team is struggling, I think Kyle Jackson's one of those guys you look at and say he just hasn't been able to perform on the score sheet in this series.
And then you look at Xander Vecchia, a second-year player for the Mississauga Steelheads, one of the youngsters that they are looking forward to in the future to kind of step things up. He had 20 goals in the regular season, has 2 already in this playoffs. Yep. He's having an outcome, or he's being an outpouring for the Mississauga Steelheads, kind of coming out of nowhere.
And he's looked really good on that Misa and Hardy line that has been so strong. And the interesting thing, if you look at this team, the scoring has basically been Angus McDonald, Hardy, and Vecchia, as you said. Those have been the only people who scored multiple goals. Larson and Callahan are the other ones who only have 1 goal apiece. So not a lot of scoring from the Mississauga standpoint. And as you said, Vecchia's looked very strong. He's looked very good. But if you can shut down those 3 guys, I think if you're the Battalion, you're looking good. And look, when you look at this, Dom DiVincentis, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, he's stood on his head for this team. But if you shut down those 3 guys, I think it's going to be tough for Mississauga to score more than maybe 1 goal in this hockey game.
Let's take a look at the North Bay Battalion lineup. One change in the score sheet or in the lineup card is Alexander is out of tonight's game dealing with a upper body injury. Looks like he's going to be out for a couple weeks, and taking his spot is Wyatt Kennedy coming into the lineup. So we're going to see a few different defensive pairings tonight, but a big loss, I think, losing Alexander Lukin and that physicality.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I'm not a big fan of Lukin and Nelson being on the same defensive pairing just because they kind of clash with their play style. I think Nelson needs somebody who is very defensive minded. He's going to be with Winslow today. Unfortunately, that change happens because Lukin gets injured, and I think Lukin's a very good player, but he's kind of like Nelson where he needs to have that defensive anchor behind him. And again, if you go back to Nelson, he just hasn't been as aggressive. We haven't seen him play that way. Lukin, I think that's going to be a big loss for the Battalion. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have to highlight to see how does Ty Nelson play in this game. Is he going to be more aggressive? He's going to be joining the rush a little bit more. And as you said, Wyatt Kennedy, who's been a big player for the Battalion on that 3rd defensive pairing, he will be with Brustowski. And it's going to be interesting to see how much we're going to miss Lukin in this lineup, but I think it's going to allow Nelson to be a little bit more aggressive. And unfortunately, it just happened to be an injury to Lukin that kind of forced the pairings to shuffle up a bit. But it'll be, again, he already has a point in this series with an assist in 3 games. and it's going to be interesting to see what the D looks like with Wyatt Kennedy getting a chance to play in his first game of the series as well.
Yeah, so the defensive pairing is Luke Briskowski with Wyatt Kennedy, Avery Winslow with Ty Nelson, and then you've got Paul Christopoulos still with Braden Hislop. So two good solid pairings there. Not sure how much time that third pairing will get. Still the same 12 forwards that we've seen every game this year. Jacob Therrien still the odd man out, will not dress tonight. And we're going to see a little bit of a line shuffle from Ryan Ulan as we're going to kind of see what we saw at the end of the year with the four lines he has put together. As we're going to get Petrov back with Jackson and Ertel on that first line. Second line is going to be Bloom, Zito, and McDonald. Then you're going to see Procession with Wakely, Romani, and then finally Van Steensel with Arnsby and Tarasevic. You really like Wakely moving back to the center role.
I think he plays a little bit better on the center role. I think he's a little bit more, not necessarily comfortable there, but I think he plays a very good center, and we've seen him play that well. And he's been all over the place. He's been wing, he's been up, he's been down. It's interesting, again, Ethan Procession, who scored his first goal on the road as well, first playoff goal, he's going to be back on the wing, so it's going to be interesting. He hasn't had he's had a decent series, but he hasn't really been on. You don't see his name getting called as much as I think you'd like to see it, so I'm very interested to see with Anthony Romani also on that line to see if that's going to help Procession kind of break out of that shell a little bit more, and that's going to be the line too. I believe you said that's going to start this game, if I'm correct. No, sorry, it's the Zito line. That's my bad. The Zito, Bloom, and McDonald line will start it. The reason I say that is because, again, we look at the Van Steensel, Arnsby, and Tarasevic line being that line that's going to give a lot of pressure. It's going to give them the momentum. I would personally like them to start the game. They're not going to be starting the game, and the reason why is when I talked about the Achilles heel of the Battalion, when they're on their heels and they're being pressured, they just aren't good with the puck. They can't move the puck through the neutral zone. They can't create a game. They're on their heels. They make bad plays. It leads to bad goals, and they don't get that offense going. What I find is when Arnsby starts with that line, especially we saw this, I believe it was game one. We've seen this a little bit down the stretch. They come out, they set the tone, they give the momentum to the Battalion, and they get to much better starts, and we said this all year long, starts are so important. If Mississauga comes out and plays the way that they have here in the game 1 and 2 in that first period, it's going to be a long night, I think, for the Battalion.
Yeah, I really like the way that Ulan has shuffled his lineups, going back to what was working down the stretch, in which we saw them close out the regular season with 11 straight wins. Turning our attention now to the Mississauga Steelheads, they're going to again dress 11 forwards, 11 forwards, gives head coach James Richmond a little more opportunity to maybe double shift one of his players that is maybe heating up a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, they're going with those 7 defensemen, Gordon being the kind of odd man out, and it's kind of interesting with what Mississauga is going to be able to do. But if you got to shut down a line again, it's going to be that second line of Hardy, Nisa, and Vecchia. It'll be interesting. Are they going to give maybe McDonald being the kind of the main centerman? Is he going to get that a little bit more chance? Are we going to see maybe the lines getting shuffled to get Hardy in there or Vecchia in there? It's going to be interesting, and I'm going to say you got to, no matter what you think of the Battalion's play, you've got to give a lot of credit to James Richmond and this Mississauga Steelheads team. They have come out, they have played hard, and you know what? No matter what happens in the series, I think you have to be extremely proud with how your team played in this series.
Well, and one of those players he's especially proud of is his goaltender, Ryerson Leanders, getting his 5th start. He's got a 2-2 record entering this game, and he's been really sharp for the Steelheads.
He looked very good in game 2. Game 1, he was a little rusty. There were a couple of goals that he kind of let in that were, maybe a more seasoned veteran goaltender, maybe saves. But when you look at game 2, I think he really kept them in that game, especially in that second period. Even though he gave up 3 goals, he really kind of got into it and allowed himself. He had a couple of big blocker saves, and he really, I think, kept that team in it, and he made some great saves. And again, he's only 16 years old. He's got 3-4 more years in this league, so he's only going to get better. And this Mississauga team, there's a lot of good things that can happen, I think, in the future, and we're just seeing the beginning of it.
And that was one of the things, I know I talked about Mike Kay, that is the play-by-play guy for the Sauga 960 radio station, was at the trade deadline. The Mississauga Steelheads didn't really know what they were getting into for a playoff run, so they went ahead and traded away Owen Beck, Ethan Del Mastro, and Luca Del Belbaluz, and really surprised at how well this team has come together down the stretch and has given such a battle to the Battalion.
Yeah, and it was interesting too, because coming into this series, the Battalion 11 straight games. Mississauga was on a 4-game losing streak. In fact, that losing streak basically allowed Sudbury, who was the first Eastern team out of the playoffs with the Peterborough win, it allowed it allowed Sudbury to get into that 5th spot. Mississauga could have played Peterborough, right? We could be playing Sudbury. So it's very interesting. But no matter what happens, Derek, you just got to be happy you're not Windsor at this point, who got a clean sweep by the Kitchener Rangers. And,
and don't have much of a future.
And they also sold the farm with Shane Wright as well. You have to remember what they gave to Kingston to get Shane Wright. It was a huge mega deal, and now they're out in the first round. So no matter what happens in this series, you can always just say, well, at least we're not the Spitfires.
And getting the start tonight for the North Bay Battalion, his 5th consecutive start, is Dom DiVincentis. He also split the season 2-2 in the first 4 games for the Battalion.
If there is any big bright spot for this Battalion team, it's going to be Dom DiVincentis. If you look at that game, if in game 4, he kept this team in the game the whole time. It was close. It was 1-1 after 40 minutes. They ended up losing 3-1, but Dom stood on his hand. If you ask anybody who watched that game, it was all Dom DiVincentis in that hockey game. Look, the guy's faced a lot of shots on net in this series, but he has been absolutely fantastic. A 254 goals against average, 932 save percentage. He's looked very good. He's faced over 147 shots in 4 games.
Well, the crowd is ready. The players are ready on the ice. We're ready up here in the press box. When we return, Courtney Kinney will join Ben Sargent with all of your first period action here as the Steelheads Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And we welcome you back inside Memorial Gardens for what will probably be the most pivotal game of this 7-game series. It's Game 5. This series is tied up 2-2 as we welcome in Courtney Kenny. And Courtney, this is going to be the game. And you look at it again, the way that it's been flip-flop, 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 it seems. So if that pattern continues, it should be a good game for the Battalion, hopefully.
Well, another big thing, Ben, as we get ready for a wonderful Game 5, as you mentioned here, or we're hoping a wonderful Game 5 here. Whichever team scores first has gone on to win every game as well.
Yep.
We know what the Battalion record was. I think they only had like 2 or 3 wins in the regular season when they didn't score first. So that first goal will be pivotal here today, and we're hoping that we see a few changes maybe on the power play. But if Ryan Houlihan, his media availability was any indication, the Battalion seem to want to stay the course, and they like where they're at. Also of note, congratulations North Bay, you've come out strong. Last count, 177 tickets for all that's left for this Game 5 here in North Bay.
And they've been loud. Even Game 1 and 2 weren't quite sellouts. We're probably the loudest I've heard this building in a long time.
Yeah, very loud.
Hopefully we'll see them for round 2.
Almost have to go back to the first 2 years in the playoffs. As we're underway here at the Gardens with the Steelheads with possession first off the draw. The Battalion trying to get the puck, and now a big chance there by McDonnell and McDonald. Battle in the zone. Sent in, hard shot from the side of the net as Mississauga gets the first shot on goal. But now Pasquale Zito with the puck, gets it up ice to Kyle McDonald. McDonald down the ice, gains the blue line, throws it in. The Steelheads in their road whites are going left to right in this period. As we're going to get a quick stoppage here, the Battalion in their home greens, it'll be for a high sticking call. The Battalion in their home greens are going right to left here in this first period, Ben.
Looks like Porter Martoni going off for high sticking, as you said, a very early penalty here for the Battalion. One of the things they struggled with in the first 2 games was the power play, but they came back with a decent power play in Mississauga, picking up a couple of goals. Kyle McDonald with one in the last game. So we'll see how they can do here with, it looks like Romani, Petrov, Jackson, Nelson, and I believe that is Zito in the back.
As it's back to Petrov. Petrov at the point to Jackson. Back to the point for Petrov. Petrov cross ice for Nelson. Nelson goes back over cross ice for Jackson. Jackson skates the puck in. Flipping along at 11% here in the series so far. You want to see that number go up as we have 1:40 left on the power play. Nelson over to Jackson. Jackson looks cross ice for Petrov. Over for Petrov. He takes the shot and it's just high and over the net. The Battalion, you know they're going to want one here early. Petrov throws the puck in deep as that's tipped off a stick for Jackson. Jackson back behind the net for Zito. Zito nearly had his picket pocked by Larson, but protects the puck well behind the net. Now throws it back to the point for Petrov. Petrov skates the puck in. Battalion getting a lot of zone time here, something they couldn't say in Mississauga. Back to Petrov. Petrov back to Nelson. Nelson goes cross ice for Jackson. Jackson walks in, takes the shot, he scores! Kyle Jackson off the schneid. It's 1-0 Battalion on the power play.
Well, we were talking about this pregame, and I said, what has Kyle Jackson done in this series? Absolutely nothing. And what has he come out today? And we talked, he's second, tied with Tarasevic with 12 shots on net. And this is the Kyle Jackson the Battalion needs to see. An absolute snipe. They get guys in front of Leanders, goes absolutely top shelf. Again, like, we just want these guys to perform well. We talked about Bloom, like, you know, having some problems. He comes out firing in the first couple of games. If they can get Kyle Jackson going as well and he can find his shot like he did in the first half, my goodness, what a huge goal and a power play goal. What a way to start things a minute and a half into this hockey game.
The Battalion now, as if you're just tuning in, well, first off, where were you? Second off, 1-0 Battalion. Carmiris with the puck. So that's Jackson's first of the playoffs. And Battalion fans appreciative of that here as Kennedy falls over the referee in the corner. Back to Brskowski. Brskowski gets it up ice, and there's some fans standing there, so I can't really tell you where the puck is, but it's down the ice. Callahan with the puck. Tarasevic hot on his heels. Callahan with some speed out through the neutral zone. The pesky defenseman and captain of the Steelheads team on the road. James Hardy's the captain at home. Brstowski up to Van Steensel. Van Steensel sends the puck up ice. It's going to hit Leskovar's stick and is past Tarasevic. Wakely picks it up in the neutral zone, throws the puck cross ice, and the puck in deep now. Procession chasing after it. Leskovar gets to it first. Throws it up for Zidlicki. Zidlicki with the puck. Skates it back behind his net. Stops up. Has Procession right on him. Procession takes his man down, but Mississauga regains possession. Leskovar in his corner as the Battalion applying all kinds of pressure here early. Mississauga having struggles getting out of their zone, and now a mistake here to Wakely. Wakely tries to skate the puck in. He's held up. He takes a shot. It's off a shin and wide. Now Procession behind the net out front to Romani. And oh my goodness, what a chance there for the Battalion if Romani could got the shot away. Unfortunately for him, had to bobble it a little bit. Romani right back into the zone. Leaves it for Winslow. Winslow walking in. He walks around the goal. He's tripped up by the goaltender. So that will be a penalty coming up. As Landers now is going to get 2 minutes. Of course, he can't go and sit for the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But the Battalion will get back on the power play.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure if it was maybe the defenseman who got the stick in it, but yeah, I think they are going to give it to Leanders. And well, kind of a nice change of pace from what we saw last game where I know you were kind of hot on that, but yeah, the one thing I will say about the Jackson goal is I had a really good rant ready for the podcast. I had a really good one about him not performing, and now he kind of like went and destroyed it.
No offense, I'm kind of happy about that because I would rather Kyle Jackson score a goal.
100%. 100%. But at the same time, it's like, there goes the content.
Yeah, we still got the air horn.
That's true.
Back to the point.
It's a good
McDonald. It is a great air horn. As the Battalion on the power play find themselves out of the zone quickly. We'll have to see if the Battalion are able to set up now on the rush, as they never were knocked out of the zone last time. So this will be a big thing here on the power play. Luke Misa is serving the 2 minutes for Leanders. And now Callahan gets to the puck in his own zone and throws it down to the Battalion end. Giving Chentis out to play the puck.
Sorry, one of the things that you can tell here really early is the Battalion are much more aggressive on the puck than they were in the other two games. You can really tell that they know that this is a huge game for them.
McDonald walks in, tries to get it back to Bloom, but Mississauga gets to it and sends it down the ice, and the Battalion will change troops here as Nelson's out to play the puck with 1:15 left on the man advantage. Leaves it behind for Petrov. Petrov in his own zone. Goes cross ice looking for Nelson. It gets up to Romani, who leaves it for Nelson. Nelson, now with Hardy all over him, gets it back to Jackson. Jackson back to his defense, or rather Petrov. Gets it up for Romani. Romani bobbles it, but gets the puck deep into the Steelheads zone. Jackson coming in for support. It's now the Steelheads puck, and they send it down the ice. And a little bit of a different look here on the power play for the Battalion than the first time, where they didn't leave the zone at all before the Jackson goal.
Yeah, their biggest Achilles heel is trying to regain the zone. And again, they don't chip and chase enough. They try to carry it in, and I think that's the biggest issue with their power play and their overall offense.
Well, there was an inverted chip and chase, but it ended up becoming a icing call against the troops. So we'll get a defensive zone draw here for North Bay.
But again, that's a pass that goes to Zito that goes out of his reach. And when the Battalion are under pressure, and we kind of talked about this to Peter Goulet when he was on the podcast, but it was not on the podcast, it was after, where we were talking about how much time you have to decide with the puck. And it feels like here the Battalion have to struggle with when they need to make immediate decisions. And it's something that Mississauga's take advantage of a lot, but the Battalion needs to get the puck up, and they need to dump it in and use their speed. Zito's a very fast guy. Bloom's a fast guy. Tarasevic. You got to use the speed of these guys and really get it deep into their zone and utilize the big speed that this team has.
Speaking of speed and nifty hands, Anthony Romani out to Jackson. Jackson to Zito. Zito flings the puck in and hits Jackson, though, and falls in a dangerous area for Mississauga, but North Bay gets possession right back. Back to the point for Nelson. 12 seconds remain on the power play. Cross ice to Petrov. Petrov with a shot. That one's blocked by Callahan. Now Petrov with the time expiring. Back to Nelson. Nelson takes a shot. And with 3 seconds left on the power play, that puck is up and over the glass and out of play.
Well, another thing the Battalion do, which is kind of frustrating, is they really kind of bunch up a bit. As we saw that on that last play again, Romani carries it in, but Romani, Zito, they're all bunched up. So what happens is when they try to make plays, they bobble it, they get it in their skates. They've got to start stretching out a little bit, and again, they've got to stop being so close to each other. Let the ice breathe a little bit. And allow yourself to kind of stretch the ice out a little bit, I guess is the best way to kind of describe it.
Back to the point. Christopoulos takes a shot. That one's blocked in front. We'll have to keep an eye on Callahan, who hobbled back to the bench as well. Arnsby takes his man down. I know the other broadcast is looking for a call on that one. Christopoulos to Hislop. Up to Van Steensel. Van Steensel to Arnsby. Arnsby throws the puck in behind the net as it comes out. And we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. Quick update on our NOJHL partners, the Voodoos. Nicholas Frederick with the first goal in that game, so Timmins is up 1-0. They already lead that best-of-7 series, 1-0 after a 4-3 victory in Game 1 last night. Hislop looking for Arnsby, who was going for a change, and then quickly had to change his decision, or else it would have been too many men on the ice. But Arnsby has the puck again in his own zone, and the Battalion go down the ice quickly. Tarasevic now battling for the puck. Harding gets to it, though, and now Von Richter throws it up ice for Hardy to Vecchia. Vecchia with the shot, and that one's off Hislop's ankle and wide. Brustowski back to Hislop. Over to Bloom. Plays it back into the corner to his roommate Hislop. Hislop to his D partner Brustowski on the near side to Bloom. Bloom to Zito. Zito flips the puck in and chases after it. Gordon with it, taken down by McDonald behind the net, as Kyle McDonald just said, "Hey, do you like the ice? You're going to sit on it now." Mississauga with possession tries to get the puck down the ice. Bruskowski bats it out of the air, and he picks the puck up in his own zone to Kennedy. Kennedy up ice for Zito, maybe an ill-advised pass, but it hits a skate and goes down the ice to Von Richter in his own zone. Now looking up ice again, Mississauga can't get anything to go, and now McDonald tries to float the puck in cross ice. Gordon to it first with Bloom hot on his heels. Now Zito knocks his man down. And now we got a 2-on-2 situation for Mississauga as they throw the puck in on net. DiVincentis nearly misplayed the puck, but he still got it to a guy in green. Now McDonald goes down the ice, hits a skate, and the Battalion will have to regroup and start things again. Puck sent down to the Battalion end. DiVincentis plays it, no icing. Nelson up for Romani. Romani hits the puck out to center ice for Procession, nearly given away, and Procession sends it right back to Nelson. Shots on goal here as Nelson takes a hard hit from Kai Schwint. 2-1 in favor of the Steelheads through the first almost 8 minutes of play. Up to Procession. Procession flips the puck in on the far side. Sharp goes after it in the far side corner. That's rubbed off the puck by Wakely. And the puck is sent up and over the boards and out of play.
Well, we talked about this again. Mississauga doing such a good job pressuring the Battalion before they can make plays. And we've seen these passes go off skates. We've seen them go into bad spots in the ice and just not hitting their man. And you got to give a lot of credit to the Steelheads. They know, James Richmond knows how to play this Battalion team, and it's showing in this series. But at the end of the day, again, it's so frustrating watching them try to get into the offensive zone. They've got to start, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you got to chip it in. You can't try these passes that are getting stopped constantly. Like, that's probably the most frustrating thing in this series so far for the Battalion. You've got to chip and chase, and you got to just create some offense and stop getting stuck at the blue line. And if they can't figure that out, it's going to be a tough next 3 games, potentially.
Well, again, best 2 out of 3 now this series. Battalion with home ice for 2 of those games. Of course, 5 and 7 if necessary. Game 6 will go Sunday in Mississauga at 2 o'clock. As now the puck down the ice into the Battalion zone. Battalion, Christopoulos up to Arnsby. Arnsby to Van Steensel. Good stick there by Larson, knocks it off his stick, and the Steelheads regain possession in their own zone. Martoni flips the puck in on DiVincentis, who's just going to cover it up. And now McDonnell getting reacquainted with Braden Hislop. And the 2 of them, are going to come to blows a little bit. Angus McDonnell, we talk about James Hardy being a thorn in the Battalion side, but Angus McDonnell, this series has been a thorn in the Battalion side.
Well, he's got, 3 goals? Well, only 3 goals, no assists, but as you said.
Including a game winner.
He's looked very strong. He's looked very strong here in Memorial Gardens. He was our player to watch, I believe, in game 2, and picked up a goal in that game, and it's just been, again, you look, it's only 3 guys who are really pretty much all the scoring. If you can shut those guys down, Hardy, Vecchia, and McDonald, you're in good shape.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong threesome, though. Puck back into the neutral zone with the Steelheads. They throw it cross ice into the Battalion zone. Hislop first on that with Misa right behind him. Throws it behind his back to Christopoulos. Christopoulos gets the puck up to Jackson. Sends it right back to Hislop. Hislop looking up ice, gets it to Ertel. Ertel gains the red line, flips it in. And Callahan looking no worse for wear out there now, taken down by Petrov. Behind his net, pass out of the zone, can't get to anyone, and now Jackson over to Petrov. Took an awkward looking one-timer there, another chance stopped by Leanders. And Petrov with 2 good chances there, although his one-timer looked a little bit awkward, but he still got the shot away.
Yeah, there's a little bit of pushing and shoving there between Callahan and Ertel. Looks like Vecchia also in on there. So again, this is, no matter how you look at it, it's been a good series. When you look at it, it shouldn't be even, but if you look at it just in terms of a strict 7-game series, it's been physical. There's been good play on either side. But again, if you're the Battalion and you look at how good this team is and how this is an OHL final Memorial Cup caliber team.
Petrov with the shot blocked in front by Sharp. Back out to the neutral zone. Schwint tried to kick it ahead. Stopped by Bruskowski. Now Ertel, man on a mission as 4 white sweaters swarm him. Flips the puck into the Steelhead zone and regains possession on the far side corner. Ertel battling in there. Jackson comes in for support. Now 4 bodies on the ice. Ertel comes away with it. Ertel walks out front, takes a shot, and that one's blocked away by Leanders. Sent down the ice. Bruskowski as Ertel also throws a hit at the end of that pressure, but had to vacate the zone quickly as it was delayed offside. Bruskowski throws the puck in around as the Battalion go for changes. Bruskowski leaves it for Winslow, and he goes off ice for Nelson. Now McDonald out there with the puck, gains the red line, throws it in for Leanders. Leanders plays it into the far side corner for Harding. Harding up ice. McDonald tried to get to the puck, but it bobbled off his stick. Now it's back to Nelson to Winslow. Winslow up ice to Kyle McDonald. Over for Bloom. Bloom. Out for Zito. Zito walking in. Zito with the shot, and that's gloved down by Leanders. And we'll get our stoppage in play here at the mid-period break. We'll hear from Derek Lindemann on the other side of this. Of course, he's Ben Sargent. I'm Courtney Kenny. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Just awaiting Mr. Derek Lindemann now, as we'll hear from him momentarily. But the Battalion leading in shots 6-2 here through the first 10 minutes and change in the game. And Mr. Derek Lindemann now between the benches. Derek, what's the vibe here in this pivotal Game 5 from ice level? Can you hear us, Derek? Well, we'll hear from Derek momentarily as we're about to get back underway. We'll hear from him at the next stoppage. 1-0 Battalion lead, 9:49 left at the first period here. Battalion now with an offensive zone draw. Liam Arnsby to take it. And that's going to be Martone coming to get it for the Steelheads. Arnsby tries to win it back. He does. Battalion have possession momentarily, but then Harding comes away with it. Harding got it up to Hardy. Now it's dropped for Tarasevic. Back to Van Steensel. Van Steensel with a shot. And that one's kicked aside by Leanders. Sent it to the corner. A couple of bodies collide. Van Steensel with it. Van Steensel in the corner. Back to Tarasevic, who's still in the corner with it. Gets it near side to Van Steensel. Van Steensel with the shot. And that one's over the net. Hardy with it. Can't vacate his zone right away. MacDonnell gets it up to Harding. Back to MacDonnell. And he gets a stick on it and flips it into the Battalion zone. Hislop comes out with it. Hislop now battling two Steelheads for possession. Comes up the boards to Tarasevic, and he flips it up for Bloom. Bloom now leading the rush with Christopoulos. Bloom chasing after it as Christopoulos peters off. And Bloom throws his weight around as the wave is starting to get started here at Memorial Gardens. Once again, we saw it in Game 2. It got going pretty good, actually.
That's part of the game.
Bloom, yeah, it was. Takes a shot. Leanders with an awkward-looking save. And the rebound comes into the corner for Zito. Zito leaves it behind the net for Bloom. And Misa comes away with it and throws it around the boards to Hardy. Back to Misa. Misa now through the neutral zone. Bobbles the stick, or bobbles the puck rather, and gets it back in. 8:30 left in the period. Up ice to Zito. Zito back to Nelson. Nelson carries the puck up. Gets it back to Zito. Zito goes back to Winslow. And Winslow just throws the puck into the Steelhead zone. Hard hit there, leveled by McDonald. And now Procession comes away with it. Gets it in for Zito. Zito looks for some options. Tries to throw it in behind the net for McDonald. And now a couple of Battalion players battle for it on the near side. Procession and McDonald with Misa in there as well. Misa knocks his man down. Fans looking for a penalty. Not going to get one there because if we know anything about how this game goes, you know the Battalion have already got two power plays, so the next penalty will likely be Mississauga. Producer Ben Long, are we good for Derek Lindemann now? Still nothing.
Well,
that's okay. Yeah, well, worst case, we'll hear from him at the mid-period break.
We talk about dump and chase, and that wasn't a good dump and chase because momentum was kind of stalled and it was kind of a last-second ditch. But what it does do is it allows them to fight for the puck, and now they get an opportunity on Leanders. And the thing, they're up 1-0 at this point, and the thing you have to remember is the more time they spend on the offensive zone, the less time that Mississauga is in the Battalion defensive zone.
It's
so
true.
Again, we talk about great offense making great defense, and man, if you're doing the offense, the other team can't score.
1 + 1 makes 2.
Yeah. I'm not a math whiz, but it sounds about right.
It sounds about right. That's why everyone's crazy about Corsi for a few years in the NHL, right? Mm-hmm. If you have possession, the team can't score. Well, they still can on limited possession. We've seen it. Back to Wakely. Wakely picks off a dangerous-looking pass. And now Larson gets the puck back and sends it up ice for Zabeski. Zabeski flips the puck into the Battalion zone. Nelson going to be the first on it as he takes a hit on the near side by Van Bolsen. Now up ice for Petrov. Petrov flips the puck cross ice for Romani. Romani chasing after, battling with Callahan. Anthony Romani, who scored a beautiful goal in the last game in Mississauga, out on the ice now. Petrov takes a slap from the far side wall. And apparently now we will actually hear from Derek Lindemann, who is between the benches. Derek, if you can hear us. Apparently he hung up. He doesn't like us very much.
He doesn't want to listen to us. I don't think he was ready for this. We are a professional broadcast, apparently.
Your number one source for profession.
We're hiring new producers.
Yeah, no. We're looking for better between the bench guys who actually keep a phone call going. He's definitely not the type, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. Back out front is shot
like
by the
mom.
Battalion. Back to Jackson. Jackson with the lone goal here so far. Throws it down the ice. It's Kennedy in his own zone with it. Kennedy up to Petrov. Petrov to Ertel. Ertel taken hard by two Steelheads players. And now he tries to throw his weight around. That's one thing about Justin Ertel that we've seen in these home games. He's not afraid to throw his body around. Martoni in for Callahan. Callahan in tight. Oh, not sure if DiVincenzo's got a piece of that. If he did, what a save. As Mississauga gets their first good look of the game here. Callahan takes a shot, blocked by the Battalion. Ertel. Then Van Steensel starts to rush the other way to Ertel. Ertel carries the puck in. Back to Van Steensel. Van Steensel sends the puck in for Ertel, looking for the pass. Now cross ice. Chance there for the Battalion. As Leenders kept Ertel down on the ice, but still made the save somehow. Now a sharp angle shot by the troops. And now we're going to get some pushing and shoving here with Van Steensel and, surprise, surprise, Justin Ertel.
Yeah, and he kind of got horse collar to the ground, and the referee was looking right at it, and he was looking for a penalty there, but no call, unfortunately, and Van Steensel kind of coming to his defense a little bit in front of the net. Another great opportunity, but again, the Battalion just haven't had those rushes where they've had their whole 5 guys coming at it. It's a lot of line changes, but the one good thing that they've done, if you look at the shots on net, it's 12-3 for the Battalion. So right now, North Bay's doing a great job of controlling the offensive game, not putting a lot of opportunity, not giving Dom, or forcing Dom to make a lot of saves. That's been a big difference maker. If you look at so far in the first 4 games, shots have been very skewed, especially the first 2 home games for the Mississauga side. 12-3
for the Battalion right now, like you were saying. Battalion battling for the puck. Arnsby throws his weight around. Larson gets across ice and is flipped down the ice. Hislop will get to be that puck though in his own zone. Hislop once again with the puck up to Van Steensel. Van Steensel tried to flip the puck down the ice, and now it gets to Arnsby. And Nikita Tarasevich might have had a break there, but the puck was knocked just out of his stick. Hislop throws the puck around behind the net to Arnsby. Arnsby throws the puck out front. Christopoulos was pinching in, but couldn't get a shot away. Now the Battalion will find themselves in the box now. Liam Arnsby will be penalized, as he was a few words for the Mississauga bench. And now behind the play, we're going to see Carmiris and a Battalion player mix it up, as well as Hislop. And the referee blew down the whistle and got in there pretty quick before tensions could really come to blows. Right now, the Battalion for 2 minutes or less to Arnsby.
Yeah, it could be the first opportunity for Mississauga on their power play, which has been hot in this series. They've looked very
22.2%.
Yeah, they're 4 for 18, and that's been kind of that's where they've scored a majority of their goals in this series, has come on the power play. And yeah, this is going to be a big power, which is funny because again, the Battalion came in with the top-ranked penalty kill for the season. They've not looked as sharp in this playoff, but
no, they haven't.
This is going to be a big kill. Remember, it's still only a 1-0 game.
Callahan throws the puck in for Martone. Martone carries the puck around. McDonald gets to it first and slaps it down the ice. Leenders out to play the puck. 1:45 remaining on the power play. Callahan first on the puck from his goaltender. Callahan harassed there by Zito. And now it's Martone carrying the puck up, getting into the Battalion zone, but knocked down there by Hislop, and he sends it down the ice, but it hits Callahan at his blue line. But now the Steelheads take the puck the rest of the way for them.
Yeah, again, you want to keep them away from trying to get established into the zone. We've seen the Battalion struggle with that in their second power play. That's what makes a good penalty kill. Once you get it out, can they reestablish that game in the offensive zone?
Sharp to MacDonnell. Looking cross ice for Zidlicki. Gets it back to Callahan. Brings it to the near side for Sharp. Sharp in deep. Back in for Sharp. Sharp takes a shot. DiVincenzo gloves that down. And we'll get a stoppage here with 1:06 left on the power play. And 4:15 left. Just one thing I wanted to point out too. The Battalion are 9-15 all-time in 5th games of the playoff series, including 6-6 when the 5th game is played at home. The Troops are 5-4 in Game 5 in the series since relocating to North Bay, and a perfect 4-0 at Memorial Gardens so far. So history is on the Battalion side.
Unlike Game 2.
Unlike Game 2.
Yeah.
And the last Game 5 played here, they eliminated the Kingston Frontenacs last year.
Again, it's such an important game. You have a chance, if they win today, you have a chance on the weekend to steal the series in Mississauga. In worst case, if you end up splitting those games, you're still coming back home to play Game 7. And you do not want to be going into Mississauga facing elimination.
No, you do not. Von Richter up ice for Carmiris. He sends it around behind the net. Nelson will get to that first, and he'll just flip it down the ice to ice it. And with 30 seconds left on the power play, the Battalion will change the penalty killers, and Mississauga will change some of their charges on the power play. Schwint, cross ice for Von Richter. Carmiris gets the puck into the Battalion zone. Now Von Richter battling with Van Steensel. Puck back to the point for Carmiris. Carmiris walks it in. Looks to take a shot and then sends it back to the point. Von Richter takes it. And Divinchendis, as he has all series, looking very strong in the blue paint.
Battalion doing a great job on the penalty kill. What you want to do is you want to make sure that Dom gets the best look at that puck as possible. So far, the 2 shots on this power play for Mississauga, Dom's had a clean look at that puck, no tips, no nothing. So a great job in that box penalty kill formation. And again, Mississauga, they're a team that are playing with nothing to lose at this point. Because you know the next round, it's going to be hard for them to get by round 2, assuming if they come out with a victory here, they're going to be probably playing Ottawa. So it's all about, they're playing, again, nothing to lose, and that's a dangerous team.
Coming into the series, you knew that the pressure would be on the Battalion as the top-seeded team. As Christopoulos throwing his weight around with Misa. Now we're back to 5-on-5 hockey, just under 3 minutes left in this first period. Battalion up 1-0 on an early goal by Kyle Jackson on the power play. Misa carries the puck in and tried to get a shot away but couldn't. Now Christopoulos with it. Up ice to Wakely. Wakely flips the puck down the ice once he gains the red line. And it's going to be Gordon that gets to it first. And a quick shot attempt there by Petrov is negated by Leenders. And Jackson was on the doorstep. Couldn't get a shot away though. Now Vecchia tries to get a shot in on Divinchendis. And there's a high hit by a Battalion player in the corner, but no call coming. Jackson into the Mississauga zone, flips the puck in on Leenders. It's kicked aside. Winslow in there as well. Now is the puck in front, and now it vacates, and where Winslow would have been, the puck comes out, but Nelson gets to it first. Petrov tried to flip the puck deep into the Steelheads zone, but McDonnell gets it at his blue line. McDonnell over for Von Richter. Up to McDonnell again as he carries the puck in. Flips it back for Dezot. Dezot loses it to Nelson. Nelson sends the puck around to the point looking for procession, but that's going to be Larson that got to that one first. Von Richter keeps the puck into the Battalion zone. Now procession flipping it up for Romani. Romani with some speed. Gains the Steelhead zone, takes a shot, and that one's over the net. 1:30 here left in this first period. Shots on goal, 13-5 in favor of the Battalion. Steelheads gain the zone. Get a shot away off Divinchendis' shoulder, and he knocks that one into the corner and out of play. So we'll get another stoppage here.
Well, easily the best period that this Battalion team has played in this playoff series is they've had most amount of offensive possession. They've kept the shots down to 6, 2 of those coming on a power play. And Mississauga just hasn't had any really premium scoring opportunities in this hockey game, and the Battalion are throwing the body. They're playing with a little bit, they're playing the way that they should have been playing this entire series, and I mean, if they played this way for the entire series, it's probably a clean sweep, to be honest, but if they have to keep this up for another 40 minutes, and I guess the rest of the last minute of the first period as well.
Bloom through the neutral zone. Tries to flip the puck on net, and it misses Van Volsen. And now it's sent around for Zidlicki, but McDonald gets to that and takes the puck away. McDonald behind the net, skating with it, loses possession though. And now Zidlicki gets to it. And he's taken to the ice, and that'll be a penalty against the Battalion. 1 minute left in this period, 58.8 seconds left on the clock. And the Battalion will be going to the penalty kill here as Paul Christopoulos goes off. So the penalties are even now, 2-2.
And not a good penalty from Christopoulos. He misses, he goes to check his man, he misses him and ends up taking him down with his arm. And yeah, not a great penalty for Christopoulos. It definitely was a penalty. He definitely did hold his guy down to the ice, but those are the kind of undisciplined penalties you just can't take.
No.
And this means that as long as, assuming that Mississauga doesn't score, as Battalion try to kill their own.
Well, Bill Holder might have a word to say to Ty Nelson here at the break, as Nelson's clearing attempt hit Bill Holder square on the shoulder, and you can see him react on the bench.
And not happy, man.
He's like, I haven't played professionally in years. I'm not used to taking pucks anymore.
Yeah, but this is another big penalty kill. They got to do the same thing they did in their first penalty kill as well.
In deep, Hardy tries the one-timer. He fanned on it, much to the benefit of the Battalion, then gets a backhand away on Divinchendis. who turns that one aside. 1:50 left on that. 48 seconds here left in the first period.
Yeah, and again, and Dom looking a little bit better. We saw in game 2 Dom being a little bit, he looked like he was just a little bit slower on his tracking the puck in that game. Maybe he was a little bit tired. I'm not too sure the reason behind it, but he's looked a lot more solid, even though he's only faced 7 shots. But he's looked a lot, kind of like the Dom of old. I think we've seen it, as well as how he played in Mississauga, which is absolutely fantastic.
Puck sent down to the Steelheads zone, but Sharp starts the breakout. Sharp into the Battalion zone, skates around his lop, tries to throw it on DiVincentis, and then is turned aside twice by the netminder, but then the clearing attempt is kept in by Sharp. 20 seconds here remain. Good chance now for the Steelheads, but if the Battalion can't clear it, Mississauga will for them, as now Sharp will have to go and collect it. 1:15 left on the penalty kill. 10 seconds remain here in this first period as the Steelheads look for one more chance. Hardy plays it to DiVincentis. DiVincentis stops it and lets the puck go, and that proves to be a wise decision as the puck will be sent down the ice, and that'll kill the remaining time left here in the first period. So the Battalion come away in the first 20 minutes up 1-0, though thanks to back-to-back penalties at the end. Mississauga now has 10 shots on goal. Battalion have 13, and in the second period, the Battalion will still have to kill off 1 minute and 2 seconds on that penalty kill. Ben, how are we feeling?
Again, best period that we've seen the Battalion play. Jackson finally getting himself on the score sheet with a beautiful goal in the power play, just over a minute into this hockey game. But again, they're not able to. I'd love to see them score at least one more. It's a little sketchy when you only have a 1-goal lead, so I expect the Battalion hopefully to come out firing once this penalty gets over in the second period. And they've just got to play the same kind of game that they played in period 1. And if they do that for the next 40 minutes, it's going to be good.
All right. Well, we'll find out about that on the other side of our intermission show. Of course, Derek Lindemann will be back. No phone calls this time, so he will be here for sure. Ben Long, our producer, Ben Sargent, will be joining him as well. I'm Courtney Kenny. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside Memorial Gardens, where the Battalion strike early and take a 1-0 lead into the dressing room after 1 period of play. Let's take a look at the scoring summary in the first period, as it was Kyle Jackson getting his first of the postseason on the power play at 1:28 from Ty Nelson and Matt Petrov. That was the lone goal in the first period. 4 penalties to speak about, 2 for each team, as it was Porter Martone going off for high sticking at 32 seconds, And then just a minute and a bit later, at 3:06, Ryerson Leanders took a tripping call being served by Luke Misa. And then the Battalion got a couple penalties of their own. Leon Armsby for slashing at 14:51, and Paul Christopoulos went off for holding at 19:02. The Steelheads will have a minute 2 left on that man advantage to start the second period. In those power play stats, the Mississauga Steelheads 0 for 2, even though they still have a minute 2 left on the Christopoulos penalty, and the Battalion 1 for 2 in the first frame. Shots on goal, the Battalion outshooting the visitors by a tally of 13-10. Two other games on this Friday evening around the OHL. As in Sarnia, the Sting have an opportunity to close out that series as they take on the Guelph Storm. That game is still scoreless through 20 minutes. And also through 20 minutes, the Saginaw Spirit trail the Flint Firebirds 1-0. The Spirits lead that series by a score of 3-1. So the Spirit could close out the Firebirds on home ice. But Ben Sargent, story of this game was, I think, puck pursuit. I thought the Battalion looked a little bit more hungrier. They had that fire in the eye, and they got one early. Kyle Jackson, our player to watch, striking on that first power play.
And finally, like we just said, what has he done for this Battalion team in this series? And he kind of shuts us up at least me, up real quick, as we were talking about this, especially pregame, and it not like just over a minute into this hockey game. But it's not just the fact that Jackson scored a goal; it was his shot. Right, that was the difference maker. It was a really nice shot, glove side, top shelf, right over Leanders, through traffic. Those are the kind of shots that we haven't seen, not just from this playoffs from Kyle Jackson, who again came into this game with 12 shots, which was second and tied with Tarasevic on the team in the playoffs. But we just haven't seen that in the second half of the season either, where it's just felt like outside of power play production, his 5-on-5 production just wasn't where it was early on in the season. And I think if they can get Kyle Jackson going, just like how Josh Bloom has looked very strong in this playoff series, these are two guys who can be very important for this team. And at the end of the day, I think the Battalion played a really good period. If they played this way all the way throughout the series, I think this is probably they're probably closing it out this game, if not closing it out on the weekend when they played in Mississauga in Game 4. So this is the Battalion team that they need to be, but they need to play this for another 40 minutes, or that's going to be the biggest difference maker, I think, in this game.
One of the few times in this series that the Battalion actually outshot the Steelheads in a period 13-10. I thought the Battalion did a lot better on that puck pursuit and keeping those shots to the outside again.
Absolutely. Defensively, they looked very... Dom didn't really have that many. I think there was maybe one opportunity where I think Mississauga had a really good chance to score. All the other shots are coming more from the perimeter, more from right around the circle. Dom's getting good looks on them. He's making relatively easy saves on this puck. It's not like he's getting pushed east to west a lot of the time. So I think, as you said, defensively, the Battalion are doing everything they can. They did have a little bit of trouble on the power play at times, clearing the puck on the penalty kill, I should say. But overall, I think they played very well. I think they've done really good stopping them in the neutral zone, keeping them from getting into the offensive zone. But offensively, as you said, they've looked a lot better, but I still need to see more chip and chase from them offensively. They need to gain the zone better and utilize, have one of your have either the trailing forward or the defenseman get over the center line, dump it in, and allow some of these guys like Bloom and Tarasevic and Zito, these guys who have a lot of speed, to get into the corners, because they're relatively big guys. Like, they're not going to get beaten off the puck. Let them get that speed into the corners, allow them to create their perimeter zone, and again, they bunch up a little bit too much. You'll see a Battalion player has the puck, and the other Battalion players right beside him. They need to spread out a little bit more and not get so bunched up.
Yeah, and especially on that forecheck, I want to see a guy like Kyle McDonald get in there, lay the body, make those D feel the Battalion if they're going back to get pucks, make them hear footsteps and double check to see where they are, maybe cough up a puck and maybe get a goal off of a good forecheck.
Yeah, and they almost did that a couple of times when they chipped and chased. This is basically how the Battalion have played their offensive game. They've come up to the blue line, they get into the offensive zone, they realize, oh no, there's like 3 Mississauga players in front of me, I got to make a pass. That pass gets intercepted. It doesn't get it hits off the body of another Battalion player. It's not clean. The next thing you know, it goes back the other way. You're wasting these opportunities. If you chip and chase, you're giving yourself, again, with the speed the Battalion have, you're giving yourself that opportunity to gain the zone. They're trying so hard to carry this in and then make a first pass to the outside. just chip and chase and get it in there. Get the puck back to your defenseman in the perimeter, set up your offensive zone and put pressure, because even if you don't score, again, you're taking time away from Mississauga getting opportunities on your own end. So that's going to be the biggest difference maker if they can do it. And when I watch this team, I think that's the thing that makes me the most frustrated as a spectator.
One of the other big things in tonight's game is spectators. Just 100 tickets left at the box office, almost a sellout here tonight. I want to hear them a little bit more sustained loudness. I want to hear them chanting. I want to hear them keep going. They're just very moment by moment fans here. I want to hear them behind the team the whole time. You know what? Almost 4,000 people. I want to feel that ground shaking when I'm between the benches.
And we've seen this pregame, right? We see this before. I guarantee you when they come back out for the second period, you're going to see those chants going. But as you said, yeah, it'd be nice to be a point where you can't barely hear us because we have all that crowd noise. That's what the fans did so well when they first came over. If you remember those years of the early or the mid 2010s, and I think that's kind of, as you said, it's a little bit missing. But the good news is they are getting the turnout in the playoffs, which they haven't been getting in past years, which is great. And the crowds, at least going into the periods, have been absolutely fantastic when they get loud. But yeah, it'd be nice to hear them, as you said, be a little bit more sustained throughout the game and react maybe a little bit more when you get some of that momentum that we're not really seeing.
Well, it is playoff time in the OHL. It's also playoff time in the NOJHL. The Powassan Voodoos, who we do cover here on the front line, have opened up their second round matchup up in Timmins. Yeah, last night losing game one. They're back on the ice tonight looking to split the series up in Timmins, as they did knock off the Hearst Lumberjacks in 6 games. So congratulations to the Powassan Voodoos. And you can catch head coach Peter Goulet on the Frontline podcast this week as he makes his debut in studio with yourself and Courtney Kenny. That was a great listen. I got the chance to listen to it today. Got a little bit of a tidbit up on our socials, but you can find the full episode as Peter Goulet talks about his recruitment, the year so far, what it meant to win that series against Hearst, and also what it's going to mean to take on the Timmins Rock. You can get that podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, on Spotify, or you can watch the whole episode on our YouTube channel. But it wouldn't be playoffs without talking about the other playoffs in the OHL. In the Western Conference, let's start. 2 teams already punching their ticket into the second round. And the first off, the London Knights, no surprise, knocking off the Owen Sound Attack 4-0. And the other one is the surprise, the Kitchener Rangers sweeping away the number 1 seed in the West, the Windsor Spitfires.
And again, you look back at that Shane Wright trade and you see what they gave away for it. It was a big package, right? And Kingston obviously slipping, not making the playoffs, but they were looking at the future regardless. Windsor, who again kind of sells the farm a little bit, I believe there was up to 7 picks that were involved with that. It was, and a couple of players as well. It was a big trade, and they get swept in the first round. Not a good look for Windsor. So I know that some people look at this and say, "Wow, we're in Game 5. It's going to be it's now a 6-game series basically between Mississauga." At least we're not Windsor. And at the end of the day, too, it's interesting if you look at that second round matchup now, because, again, everything gets reshuffled, so the top seed will play the bottom seed, so it'll be Kitchener versus London.
That one's already decided.
That one's already decided, yep. And don't be surprised if you see London come out and probably sweep Kitchener as well. Kitchener, a good team, but London's a really good team, and you look at guys like what Brad Brochu can do in net, and some of their guys, Logan Mayu, and some of their top scorers.
Looking at the other 2 series in the Western Conference, both of them are 3-1 as the Sarnia Sting lead the Guelph Storm. They're in Game 5 tonight in Sarnia, and the other one is the Saginaw Spirit with that 3-1 lead over the Flint Firebirds. Winners of those series will meet up in the second round. Sarnia, local connection, Corbeil, Ontario native, Ben Goudreau in goal for the Sting. They really stacked up at that deadline.
Yeah, both those teams having a couple of Battalion players playing on those teams, right? Before you look at the guys like Josh Bloom and et cetera that have played coming from like the Saginaws and Sarnias. So it's interesting with that. I think Sarnia is still the best team in the West, in my opinion. I think they're one of the strongest teams in the West, very similar to London. With Windsor now out of the equation, I think that's going to be that should be the final matchup that you see. But I do think Sarnia is the probably the most dangerous of the two teams, but I do think a Sarnia-Saginaw series would be very interesting to watch.
Okay, let's turn to East. One team already through to the second round as the Petes swept the Sudbury Wolves.
Kind of surprising. I thought that was going to be a 6-7 game series. Probably what we saw from Mississauga. I thought they were relatively even matched. Peterborough has the goaltending, but Kevin Broussard looking very good down the stretch for Sudbury, and I thought they had a little bit more offensive depth, but Peterborough doing what they need to do, and now they're going to be going off to face, I believe.
Well, they're waiting.
They're waiting to see what's going to happen.
If North Bay ends up winning this series, North Bay faces Peterborough in the first round. The other two series, the Barrie Colts lead the Hamilton Bulldogs 3-2. Both the Hamilton's wins coming without Brant Clark in the lineup, basically, for the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, as we said, we talked about this pregame. He got an early kneeing penalty against him, which gave him a game misconduct and then a suspended game. So we talked on the podcast as well how Brant Clark is basically pretty much is the Barrie Colts for the most part. And you look, they come away with a 10-2 victory in game one. You think, oh, this is going to be a wash. The next thing you know they're going into game 6, right? So that's going to be a big series as well. But that's a series that Barrie needs to find a way to win without Brant Clark. And
quickly, the Ottawa 67s leading the Oshawa Generals 3-1. The Generals do sneak out a game. It looks like the Generals are all but done there.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think Ottawa's going to be pretty easy. Interesting, they didn't sweep Oshawa, but good for them to pick up at least a game in that series. But I'd be very surprised if that thing goes any longer than the 5 games.
Okay, quickly, Ryan Ulan, any changes coming out for the second?
I don't think so. You got to play the exact same game in terms of physicality. I want to see them chip and chase more, and I will keep saying that until they start doing it. They need to gain the zone a lot better. They need to chip and chase. But other than that, I think you got to just play the same game. But that being said, also, they need to kill this penalty off and immediately get momentum.
Well, the Battalion lead 1-0 here through one period of play. When we come back, Courtney Kenny will rejoin Ben Sargent with all of your action here as it's Battalion Steelheads on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
We welcome you back inside Memorial Gardens. It is the second period. Battalion find themselves up early 1-0 on a power play goal, minute in from Kyle Jackson, but they'll start on the penalty kill as Christopoulos still has a minute and 2 left to go on his holding call. That happened late in the first period, I should say, as we welcome back Courtney Kenny. And Courtney, pretty good first period, probably the best first period we've seen from this Battalion all series.
I was going to say it's easily the best first period we've seen all series, let alone the best period of hockey we've seen the Battalion play. In general, I would have to say through the first 4 games and 1 period of this 5th here. As we said, 1 minute 2 seconds for Christopoulos on the penalty kill as some Battalion players Hislop and that's Martone getting separated at the face-off dot already as The Battalion win the draw back to their own zone, so they get early possession. Ty Nelson flips the puck down the ice. The Battalion in their home greens are going to be going left to right this period. Mississauga in their road whites are going right to left to start this middle frame. Callahan up the ice, quick pass there, back by Martoni to Sharp, and now Martone over for Callahan. Callahan cross ice for his defenseman Sharp. Back to Callahan. Callahan walks the line, switches places with Sharp. Quick shot by the defenseman, and that took out one of his own players. Van Steensel lucky to get out of the way as it's down the ice, and Leenders picks up the puck in his own zone. Leaves it for Callahan. 20 seconds remain on this power play. Callahan gains the red line and sends it in to Hislop. Hislop gets to it first, overplays the puck, and gives it away to James Hardy. Now the Steelheads can set up shop here for the last few seconds. Callahan in deep for Martone. Martone back to the point for Callahan. 5 seconds left. Back over for Sharp to Hardy. Hardy walks out. Goes back to the point for Callahan. Callahan walks around his man. Takes a shot. It's off of a stick and over the net. That's McDonald's stick that it hit. And now we're back to 5-on-5 hockey with Christopoulos out on the ice. Battalion 2 for 2 on the penalty kill so far in this game. 1 for 2 on the power play. To Hislop. Hislop looking for Christopoulos, who was going for a change. Christopoulos had his back to the play and didn't see any of it. And now we'll get a stoppage here.
I believe it's going to be an icing goal.
Oh, the linesman conferring with the referee now down in the Steelhead zone.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But yeah, as you say, Christopoulos just trying to get off. They're playing with 3D man. Not a good pass there. I believe that was Arnsby who made the pass out. So not a good pass. But I think they might be talking as a too many men, maybe. But
Battalion didn't touch the puck.
Yeah, Christopoulos also didn't touch the puck, so that shouldn't be the issue. That they're going to talk to.
Looks like they're going for icing.
Yeah, it looks like they'll talk to Richmond there. Probably just double checking that there was
no. They're going to bring it back to the center ice here. That's what it looks like to me. Or no, they're going to go to the dot right in front of the Battalion bench.
I think the whistle. It must have been. I feel like this was a too many men whistle.
No, I think they messed up the icing call. Is what happened.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jackson, the goal scorer, in for the draw against Luke Misa. Misa wins it back, and then the Steelheads, no one really looked like they wanted to pick up the puck, as now it's into their zone. Larson up ice now, and that's going to be Vecchia with the shot, and that one's stopped by DiVincentis, and then a good rebound kicked aside for Kennedy, but it's kept in there by the Steelheads before Petrov is able to kick it out past Harding. Harding's pass for Larson just out of the stake of Ertel. But the Battalion keep it in momentarily. Kennedy pinching. He has it to Petrov. Petrov throws it back in. He knocks Misa's stick out of his hand a la Brad Marchand on Justin Hall the other night. Now Misa with the puck in the Battalion zone. Misa back to the point for Callahan. Callahan with a shot. That one hits a body and goes wide of the net. Ertel now flips the puck down the ice looking for Petrov. He's not going to get to it, but Gordon will. Petrov with a good whack before going off for a change. And now Mississauga sets up in the Battalion zone again. Martone with a good move, tries to get a pass out front, and it missed everybody, including Zito, who was there. Up the ice now quickly by Sharp. Zidlicki walks in, takes a shot. That one's gloved down by DiVincentis. And with 2.5 minutes gone here in this period, it's been all Mississauga, but of course they had a minute of power play.
Yeah, and a good start, as you said, for the Steelheads as they get some more. Now the shots, they get 3 shots in this period early on to tie things up 13-13. If you're the Battalion, you just got to start going back to that offensive pressure that you put in the first period, and they got to just kind of get the momentum back on their side. When they're back on their heels, that's where the Battalion play their worst hockey, and they've got to bring back the momentum here.
Dezot back to Callahan off the draw. Callahan's shot blocked in front of DiVincentis. And now the Battalion try to flip the puck out of their zone. McDonald can't quite get it to the blue line. And the Steelheads kick it back in for the Battalion to go after. Nelson gets to it first. Shovels the puck up for Bloom. That one missed him. And the Steelheads keep it in, flip it on net. It hit a body and goes wide. Winslow in his near side corner. Bloom battling for it in the corner. Nelson comes in to try to shovel the puck out. Puck still knocked up against the wall. McDonald tries to get it out, and eventually it finds Zito, and Zito does get it out and flips it cross ice for Bloom. Bloom just gets to the loose puck, sends it into the zone. Zito gets to it on the near side half wall, carries it in behind the net now, chasing after it. Von Richter gets to a loose puck, and then he tried to bat it away, but McDonald got to it and flips it back to the point for Winslow goes cross ice for Nelson. They got their wires mixed up on that one, and now the Steelheads have possession once again. Zidlicki from behind his own net. Looks up ice. Carries it into the neutral zone. His pass across ice for Wakely. Wakely nearly bobbled that one, but instead he gets it to Nelson. Nelson up ice for Romani. Romani in deep. And now Procession with it. Procession chasing after the puck. It's going to get quickly over to Zabeski, though. And now Van Volsen with the puck, trying to get it out for Misa. Misa does finally get it out. And the Battalion had some zone pressure there, but couldn't keep the puck in or some shots after all that. Romani tips the puck into the zone. It rides up on top of the glass and hits the netting and goes out of play.
The biggest thing here for the Battalion, their passes aren't sharp so far in the beginning. There's a lot of passes that are missing their mark. They're getting into the bodies again, and that's the biggest difference. When the Battalion are passing well, they play very well, and when their passing is not sharp and it's kind of bouncing around a little bit, that's where they get into a lot of trouble. And they've got in the first 5 minutes or so, not a great start for the Battalion, but also not a terrible start. But they got to figure out the passing here in this second period.
They haven't given up much defensively yet. That's the key right now, right? Arnsby tries to get the puck down the ice. Hardy gets to it first, and he flips it into the Battalion zone. Speaking of giving up something defensively, the Battalion almost did there, but Hardy gets the puck and keeps it into Leskovar. Leskovar with a shot. That one's tipped by McDonnell, and that one took a crazy deflection into the corner, and the puck did eventually go out of play.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you talk about not giving a lot of opportunities, with a 1-0 game, anything can go by. You can get a weird bounce. You never know, and then it's a tie game. If this is maybe a 2 or 3-0 game, I think that's fine. But right now, if you're the Battalion, you got to find a way to make this a 2-0 hockey game. And if you can make it like 2-0 going into the third period, I think you're much more comfortable with that than going in with maybe a 1-0 lead or a tie game, right? So,
well, there'd be a lot less stress in this building for sure if the Battalion get the next one. Kyle Jackson in for the draw, loses it. And now the Steelheads have possession with Schwint in the far side corner. Up ice now, or behind the net there for Vecchia. Vecchia kicks it up for Ertel. Ertel goes cross ice for Nelson. Nelson looking up ice for Jackson. Gives the puck away, and now the Steelheads have numbers, but the Battalion good at back checking. They weren't too far up. To Larson, now cross ice. Vecchia with a good shot on net. Big save by DiVincentis. Back to the point, another chance off the crossbar as the puck hit the back of the boards and came out front, and DiVincentis gets a glove on it and stops that little rally there. The puck was shot by Larson, hit the end board, bounced out to a Steelheads player who had DiVincentis down and out. The puck came up off his shot and hit the crossbar, and that's why goalies say, post can sometimes be their best friend.
Yeah, and this all starts because Nelson can't clear the zone, and we've seen this a couple of times in this game where the Battalion failed to clear the zone and it gives a chance. That's an opportunity that should never have happened in the first place if you can get the puck out of the zone. And of course, Dom also looking really good on the Vecchia save, moving left to right, which is always a good sign, and you can always tell when he's locked in.
Kennedy sends the puck down the ice. Von Richter in a foot race with Bloom, but Von Richter will get there first, so we'll have an icing call here against the Troops. But hopefully, because the Battalion had just changed lines, they're still pretty fresh.
Yeah, and again, when teams are icing the puck from their own zone, that's when you know that they're under pressure and they feel like they can't get the puck out by any other means. And they've got to find a way to not be on their heels as much in this period. And Mississauga has really found their Achilles heel, and this has been it.
Well, you can thank starting on the penalty kill, too. Zidlicki behind his net. Bruskowski gets to it. Bruskowski taking off the puck, but he gets it up for Zito, and Zito can't get it out of the zone as it's kept in by McDonnell. Bruskowski in his own far side corner. Battling now for possession as the Steelheads try to send the puck out front for McDonnell, and the Battalion once again can't get the puck out of their own zone. They can't get it past the top of the zone. They get it within 5 feet of the blue line, and there we go, finally out. And then they just get turned around. Now Zito walking in. Over for McDonald. McDonald takes the shot. He scores! It's a Big Mac combo! Kyle McDonald with his fourth!
Well, you can't say anything bad about Kyle McDonald because he's been great, not just in this playoffs, but this whole season since he's been back. And again, this kind of reminisces about the Wakely goal in Game 1 where it just doesn't feel fair. Mississauga puts all the pressure on the Battalion. Wakely goes down and scores, same thing. McDonald with a shot from the top of the circle, goes glove side on Leanders, and all of a sudden it's now a huge 2-0 game. And the thing is, the Battalion really live and die by momentum, and Mississauga get all the momentum. But once they score, watch for the Battalion to come out firing here, as that's what they kind of do when they build this momentum, especially coming off a goal.
Hislop to Tarasevic. Tarasevic tries to get around Larson, but he can't. Now it's back over for Van Steensel. Van Steensel tried to find Arnsby out front, but his pass couldn't make it through. Now it's James Hardy. James Hardy goes rink wide up with a stretch pass. Fading in, that was Martone, and a big glove save there by DiVincentis. Keeps his troops ahead 2-0 off of a big goal by the Big Mac himself, Kyle McDonald.
How about his 4th goal in 5 games, his 6th point in that time as well. McDonald has looked absolutely on fire. And the thing that's impressive, though, is he comes into this game leading with 13 shots. That's pretty good. That's 4 goals on 13 shots. That's pretty good. You know that he's picking his corner. And again, he's a guy who has all the talent in the world. He has the shot. And hopefully he's going to be able to translate that into with the Dallas Stars in the AHL/NHL.
Well, that's why the Dallas Stars liked him so much that they signed him to an entry-level deal here during his overage season. And you had to think something was going to come. That guy's a natural goal scorer, as we've seen time and time again here in North Bay. Van Steensel up the ice to Arnsby. Hislop getting his jersey held. No call coming there, as he was trying to come down and be the 3rd man. Tarasevic back to the point for Christopoulos. Christopoulos takes a shot from the point and hit a couple of bodies in front. And now the Steelheads once again go cross ice on a stretch pass to Martone. Martone tries to get around Hislop. He does. Stopped by DiVincentis. Then Martone is pushed right into the goaltender. And the net's off its mooring, so we'll get a stoppage here. And DiVincentis kind of gives him a little pat on the head, too.
Yeah, and this is kind of funny because Hislop almost kind of pushes Martone.
Yeah, it was Hislop who did it.
And then he says, "Hey, don't do that.
Yeah, don't touch my goalie.
Yeah, but
don't do that thing I just made you do."
That's always what happens, right? But a good defensive play by Hislop as well, as he kind of ties up Martone, and by the time that Martone is able to get puck possession, I mean, Dom's just right there anyways, and you basically have nowhere to shoot.
Well, if you watched Hislop on that play, he didn't play the puck. He played the body.
He played the body. And that's the thing with Hislop. Look, he doesn't put a lot. His score sheet's not impressive. It doesn't look great, but he's such a great defensive player, and it's the things he does on the ice that really puts him apart from a lot of his teammates. And I think him and Winslow are the 2 best defensive defensemen on this team, and it really shows game in and game out.
Which is funny because when Winslow first came here, he had 9 points in 12 games for the Battalion from London. Romani now skates in. Romani with a chance, and the puck he couldn't get it to settle down. And now Von Richter with the puck on the far side corner. Takes a hit from Wakely. Wakely knocks him to the ice. And the puck sent right around the end wall again for Von Richter. Von Richter behind his net. Up the ice to Schwint. Schwint to Misa. Misa had a man who was streaking in, but a good defensive play there again by the Battalion. And that one's flipped out. And if they can get, Tanias Mathern back, we're talking about best defensive defenseman on this team.
You basically have 3 really solid defensive defensemen.
Winslow to Wakely for procession, but he falls down, and now the shot comes in. DiVincentis with the save. 11:59 here remaining in the second period. The Battalion are up 2-0, but the Steelheads have the edge in shots, 17-14.
Well, we talk about the Battalion bunching up in the offensive zone, and we go back to that play with Romani, who kind of makes a nice play to go across ice. And Wakely, being the centerman, tends to go to the strong side. He needs to go to the weak side in that spot because with the left winger coming over, the right winger's right there as well. Now you have 3 Battalion all on one side. If Wakely is on that other side, he's able to pick up that wraparound attempt pass. So those are kind of the small things where you just have to be a little bit more aware of what's going on in the ice.
Quick chance off the draw by the Steelheads, turned aside by DiVincentis. Zidlicki was there on the doorstep, but a good defensive effort by the Battalion negates any threat from him. Now the Battalion trying to break out of their zone, and it's Tarasevic who gets it, or rather Petrov who gets it around his man. Petrov, cross ice for Kennedy! And Kennedy, you don't see that very often, the big defenseman coming in for help on the 2-on-1. Had a good chance there, knocked it on net, and Leanders stands tall there. You know your night's not going good when Wyatt Kennedy might score a goal on you. Not that he can't score a goal, he's just not known for it. Vecchio with the shot. Kicked aside by DiVincentis to Ertel. Ertel. Back for Bruskowski. Bruskowski behind his net now. And now Jackson with possession up the ice. Kyle Jackson over for Ertel. In now for Jackson. Jackson gets it away from Leanders. Jackson tries to throw it out front. Nobody was there as the puck hopped over the stick of Petrov. Jackson now into the zone, gets it over for Petrov. Petrov on the far side wall. Loses the puck to Harding. Harding for Zabeski. Zabeski taken away from the puck for Zito. Zito back into the middle of the ice for Bloom. Bloom with the shot. Big save there by Leanders, although it looked rather awkward for the goaltender. Hislop now skates the puck in. A good stick there by Leanders negates that attempt. And now McDonald has it at the point. Donald back for Bloom. Bloom in for Zito. Zito back to Christopoulos. Christopoulos takes the shot. And the puck is up and over the netting and out of play. So a souvenir for somebody. And we get a whistle here.
Yeah, some really good pressure there from this Zito Bloom McDonald line, which has looked great in this game too. Bloom having another really great game with a couple of chances. Another instance though, and another thing we talk about bunching up, but Ertel on that last opportunity had a chance to crash the net, decided to be a little bit away from the high slot. If he's in that slot area, he gets a really good chance to score. Something, again, the Battalion do, like little nitpicky things that can make a big difference. Sometimes you got to crash the net a little bit and not be as far out towards the blue line, and that could have been a big scoring opportunity if he was a little bit closer into the slot.
Misa with speed down the ice, gets it in for Hardy. Hardy takes a shot from a sharp angle, turned aside by DiVincentis. Arnsby now for Tarasevic. Tarasevic flips the puck down the ice and is stopped up and likely go for icing here, so the Battalion will get an offensive zone draw with 10:03 left in the second period. Battalion up 2-0.
Well, the referees in the stands calling that one as there's a couple of guys behind the Battalion.
Matt Lalonde is one of them.
Yeah, there you go.
We know Matt Lalonde.
He used to work with his wife.
Yeah. He changed his profile or his cover photo on Facebook to them signaling the goal for Nelson the other day.
I think they've been doing that for a few years.
They have been, yeah. As we get another stoppage here, the lineman didn't really like that. They're going to need to add a second to the clock as the referee's already signaling. As a second did bleed away, so it's 10:02 now on the clock. Should be 10:03. As are we going to get the second back on the clock?
There we go.
There it is. That's okay. We get the tragically hip for a little bit more. Best thing about it is my girlfriend's here, and she does not like the hip.
That's a weird thing not to like.
She's here stuck listening to that, so after I made her listen to it on the way back from Sudbury today.
As soon as you found that out, I'm sure.
It's like you with Birthday by the Beatles.
Oh, I hate that song. They play it pretty much every game here,
yeah.
too.
I will never forget the day, though, that you were like, look at this
song.
Yeah, it is a dumb song, but Hardy takes a puck, knocks it in. Now a late hit there by Christopoulos draws a bit of a crowd.
As Dom goes on, it looks like we're going to get the
we should be getting a mid-period break here.
Both goaltenders go away.
But I'll never forget the time it was my birthday and we were driving up to the college and you kept it on repeat, and every time it ended you were like, oh, is another song going to come on? Oh, look, it's birthday again. Anyways,
that's a good drive.
With that, hey, speak of the song, there it is here. We'll be back on the other side of this break here with Derek Lindemann on the Frontline Game Day broadcast.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
All right, Derek, we tried this last period. We'll try it now as we finally have you between the benches, hopefully for reals this time. Derek, what's the mood down there between the benches at the midway point of this hockey game?
Well, things picked up here in the second half ever since that Kyle McDonald goal. The Mississauga Steelheads come out a little strong to start this period, and it took the Battalion a little bit to get going, but that Kyle McDonald goal really got the things going, and you can hear Ryan Ulan on the bench asking the troops to get their feet moving and to get a little bit faster to lose pucks in their own zone. Definitely they were able to do that and capitalize and get another one here to get that 2-0 lead, Courtney.
What's the experience like in an almost sold-out building down there at ice level?
You know what? It's a nice feeling. I want to hear them louder and sustain loudness throughout the game.
All right, Derek, we'll hear from you more as the game goes on as usual. Kyle McDonald with a shot there, and that one's turned aside by Leanders. The Zott in at the Battalion bench, flips it up for Schwint, and Schwint just throws the puck in to the Battalion zone, so we'll get a stoppage and play here as the puck goes out.
Well, the Battalion, of course, this is kind of a must-win game in a way, and they've come out and they've played. They're up 2-0 at this point. They've not played as well in the second as they did in the first. They kind of struggled in, I would say, kind of the first 5-6 minutes of that period. But now we're starting to get into kind of even kind of turf. And it doesn't feel like momentum's on either side. But, again, it's all up to Mississauga. If you can shut down the Hardys, the Vecchias, the McDonalds, that's the big thing. And so far the Battalion have been able to do that.
Jackson tries to kick it back to his defenseman. Licky got to it briefly before Ertel picked his pocket. Ertel into the Steelhead zone for Jackson. Back to Nelson. Nelson for Petrov. Petrov Walks the line now. Walks in, takes a shot. And that one took a weird bounce, almost a knuckle puck, as it hit a stick in front of the goaltender Leenders. So he had to be sharp on that one, as he thought a fast puck was coming in, and it was. And then it just died and broke the stick of Von Richter. McDonnell with the puck. Up ice now for his teammate. And gaining the zone is the Steelheads. That was Dezot. And now he throws the puck in on DiVincentis, who just covers the puck up with 8:42 left here in the second period. Troops lead 2-0.
Well, if they go back to Mississauga, it's going to be a very interesting a game, I think, on this weekend. Well, obviously they're going back to Mississauga, but if they go back to Mississauga with a win, it's going to be a very interesting game going into that building, as, again, it's been this flip-flop. Battalion won one, Mississauga won one, and it flip-flopped for the first 4 games. So if they come away with a big victory, you know that they've got to have so much momentum going into that game. You kind of want to finish it in Mississauga. Give yourself a little bit of extra rest as well, going into what should be a very interesting series against potentially against Peterborough, because that's going to be a great goaltending matchup. When you look at pretty much Simpson, DiVincentis, who you could argue are the top 2 goaltenders in the league. Could very much be Barrie as well, as they've taken a 3-2 series lead on the Bulldogs. Interestingly enough, the 2 games the Bulldogs won are because Brant Clark, who leads the OHL in points right now with 14 in 4 games. And now it's quickly up for Van Steensel. Van Steensel trying to get a shot away. And that was a good defensive effort there by the Steelheads. And Leenders keeps the puck out of the net. As I was going to say before that great save and great rush there by Van Steensel, Brant Clark, 14 points in 4 games. So the Bulldogs got their 2 wins. Yeah. Got their 2 wins when Brant Clark wasn't in the lineup. And it shows you how hard the NHL is, right? When you consider he played like 8 games for the Kings. He still had 2 points. Yeah, 2 points. Yeah, but like you look at when they come back here, and it's got to be such a slower game. It's got to be such a difference when you think about the fact that as we heard from Peter Goulet, the time, right? The seconds that you have to react. But the amount of points that you're able to put up in the OHL, and then you go to that just shows how well these guys play. It doesn't necessarily. As a shot there by the Steelheads, doesn't always translate. Yeah, to like the same kind of production in the NHL, unless you're like Connor McDavid. Well, he's an outlier, and of course we have Connor Bedard coming, who many think might be better than McDavid. Christopoulos. I mean, he's doing things that Junior that McDavid hasn't done. He's got, 70 goals? McDavid, I think, has 70 goals this year, 60 goals. He's at 60, yeah. So he's having one heck of a season. If Bedard comes in next year and doesn't put up 70 goals, everyone's going to call him a bust, I guarantee it. He's got to put up that Solani rookie numbers. Yeah. Wakely takes a late hit from Carmiris before he throws the puck into the Steelhead zone, or after he does, I should say. Callahan with it. 7.5 minutes here left in the second period. Battalion holding on to a 2-0 lead. As Kennedy gets to the puck, flips it right back into the Steelhead zone. And now Sharp with the puck. Sharp, the near side for Callahan. Callahan with procession gaining on him. Gets it up to the near side half wall for Hardy. Hardy, as the Battalion battle for the puck with James Hardy. Arguably the greatest player in Mississauga history. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, again, the dump and chase game, as we saw, almost comes out fruitfully for the Battalion. So, going to keep harping on that until they start doing a little bit more consistently. Misa into the Battalion zone, stopped by Kennedy. Wakely gets to it and sends it down the ice. Larson gets to it in the neutral zone. Larson goes cross ice for Harding, and Harding's pass hit a stick of a Battalion player, and Wakely picked it up before getting knocked down to the ice, and the Steelheads regain possession. Misa hit hard there by Kennedy, but he holds on to the puck, takes a sharp angle shot. Out front now, another big save by DiVincentis, and then another centering ice pass is just sent down the ice by the Steelheads. Dom DiVincentis, in Dom we trust, as Battalion fans would say. Nelson up the ice for Ertel. Ertel gains the zone, sends the puck in for Petrov. Petrov goes cross ice for Nelson. Nelson takes a shot, it's in! Justin Ertel with the goal! Make it 3-0 Battalion! Well, he's probably the most unlucky Battalion player in the last 2 weeks. And what a tip from him. I thought it was hard to tell at first. It looked like Nelson with a clean shot, but as soon as Ertel reacted to that, you know that he got it. And man, again, we talk about unlucky. Every time he's had an opportunity, the puck's been rolling around in his stick. He's had no luck, and he finally pops that cherry, and you know he's got to feel so great about it. Unfortunately, only 14 goals on the year for Justin. He was injured for a long time. He was injured for a while, and I honestly think that could have been easily closer to 20 if he was a little bit more lucky down the stretch, but potting his first goal of the playoffs here, so that's a big goal for Justin Ertel, who now has 3 points in 5 games.
His first ever OHL playoff goal.
There you go.
As well.
How about Ty Nelson also picking up an assist? That'll be his 4th assist, 5th point. Now a point per game player.
Great effort there by Nelson, but also a fantastic tip, like you mentioned, by Justin Ertel.
And a big 3-0 lead.
As the puck hits Ertel, and now he kicks it over to Romani. Nelson, as you can hear the 7th man loud and proud here at Memorial Gardens. It's been a long time coming. Justin Ertel in for Jackson. Jackson takes the shot, and Leenders had it underneath him, had no idea it was underneath him, and the puck is still free as he falls over. Romani now on the near side. Back to Ertel. Ertel, the most recent goal scorer here for the Battalion. Gets it to Romani. Romani back in for Ertel. Ertel takes a hard hit from Leskovar. Leskovar keeping him down on Ertel's knees as they keep battling behind the net. You're going to have to watch out for any retaliation there. Winslow throws the puck right back in behind the net. And now that's a good chance there for Vecchia. Send the puck up, but it's to Jackson. Jackson looking for Bloom, and he just overskated the puck there as the pass was also in his skates. Now it's Zidlicki down to the Battalion zone to Hislop. Zidlicki fans on a pass, and now it's to Bloom. Bloom on the far side corner behind the net. Back to Hislop. Hislop to McDonald. McDonald up ice for Zito. Hits, pass, just missed him. And the puck is down into the Steelhead zone for Callahan. Callahan to Von Richter. Von Richter now skating, twisting and turning in his own zone. Stops up behind his net. Flips the puck down the ice. And hit a stick of a player in front of him. As that's going to be Carmiris, who takes a chance. But Bloom up the ice now for McDonald. McDonald over for Zito. Zito takes a sharp angle shot. Blocked aside by Leenders. And the puck came down in front of the net, way out near the blue line. But the Battalion repossess it now in the neutral zone. McDonald sends it in. Callahan is going to be the first one on that. Callahan behind the net. Skates it out cautiously. Gets it to Carmiris. Carmiris gets around McDonald. Gets the puck up quickly to Martone. But his centering ice pass finds Kennedy. Now it's to McDonald. McDonald up to Arnsby. Arnsby for Van Steensel. That was in his skates. Arnsby gets it back to McDonald. His shot tipped in front and just missed the net. Arnsby back over for Tarasevich. Tarasevich looking for the captain Arnsby, and that's going to go for icing as Arnsby tries to plead his case as he nearly got a touch on that. But the linesman has spoken, and so we'll get our defensive zone draw for the Battalion. And the Battalion have tied up almost the score, or shots now, 23-22 as well, for the Steelheads.
Yeah, one of the most, I think, quietly great series for a Battalion is Pasquale Zito's. Comes into this game with 3 points, including a goal, 4 games, and he's quietly been very good from a center position, centering that line with Bloom and McDonald.
Larson skates the line, takes a shot, stopped by Divichetis. He nearly batted that one in as he bobbled it, went to go catch it. It almost went behind him, and then he was able to grab it on the 3rd attempt. And hey, at the end of the day, they don't ask how many attempts you get at it. A catch is still a catch.
Mm-hmm. And Mississauga, too, they just don't have luck in this game. There have been a couple of open nets and opportunities that they've had that they just have not been able to capitalize on it. The Battalion, they've played well for the most part. They've got 3 goals. They finished their goals. But sometimes you look at the luck, and Mississauga just does not have any luck on their side in this hockey game so far through 40 minutes.
I don't think many here at the Gardens will be sad to
I don't
hear
think so
that.
either.
As we get the defensive zone draw, as Wakely, friendly fire, wins it so well, it's back to Divichetis. He had to be sharp on that one, and the puck sent down the ice for Procession to negate the icing. Procession back to the point for Winslow. Winslow flips that around now, and Larson gets to the puck first and sends it to his defense partner Harding, and then Schwint. Schwint on the near side wall loses it, and the puck goes cross ice for Winslow. Winslow fires the puck right back into the Steelhead zone. And it's back to Nelson. Nelson takes a shot. That was just over the top of the net. Now it's back to Winslow. Winslow back for Wakely. Wakely battling for it on the far side corner. 3 minutes here left in this middle frame. 3-0 Battalion lead. Dezot into the zone. Dezot now on the near side corner. Battling for possession. Now Romani gets to it. And Jackson picks it up, gives it to Nelson. Nelson Chips it off the boards to Winslow. Winslow up for Petrov. Petrov slows down, lets his troops join him. Now Jackson skates the puck in, takes the shot. How about that? 2 for Kyle Jackson here. It's 4-0 for the Battalion.
Well, I'm not going to take credit for this like I took for Bloom, but I did say he has to be better, and now he has 2 goals in this hockey game, and not just were they 2 goals. This is the Kyle Jackson again. We need to see the shot, right? And that's we see this. This is the second time that he shot. Not just was that, it's a 5-on-5 goal. We have not seen this Kyle Jackson in a very long time, it feels like. Big time for him to decide to show up.
I know North Bay Memorial Gardens is a rather big building, but how do you fit your head in here?
I don't know. With all my ambitious takes. So people shouldn't even be mad at me for my bad takes because apparently...
It's true, it works.
It works? So don't get mad at me.
It's true. Vecchia up for Misa. Misa overskates the puck. Now it's back to Misa in the neutral zone. Misa back to Von Richter to Callahan. 2:20 here left in the second period. The Battalion have scored 3 goals in this period and lead 4-0. Misa tries to get in on DiVincentis. He does get a chance, and it's turned aside. Now Vecchia through some traffic. Takes a shot. Ertel blocks that one. And now it's Kennedy. Kennedy up for Ertel. It's out of his reach. So Callahan will get to the puck. Callahan now in his own zone. Up the ice for Karmiris. His dumping attempt hits Kennedy. And Kennedy finds Briskowski, who finds Petrov. Petrov in the zone. Takes a sharp angle shot, missed the net. And it's back to the point for Hislop. He plays it in for McDonald. McDonald skates to the front. Tries to walk across. Now he skates it past the point. Takes a shot. Leander stops that. Bloom came in for a rebound, and he got that one off his skate. Now cross ice to Bloom. Bloom in deep with a shot, and that one hits the side of the net for McDonald. And now another chance for Bloom as Leander stops that, and now we get a bit of a crowd in front of Leander's net as Zito, I believe, knocked him into his net, and Zito manhandles a guy down to the ice.
Well, there's definitely getting penalties. There was already going to be penalties before Zito sent his man to the ice, and they're still going at it now.
It looks like McDonald's going. And then, behind that, Zito, and I can tell you there's a blue jersey in there as well.
Usually when stuff like this happens, there's a lot of coincidental penalties, but we'll see if any of this comes to a power play. I feel like I'm not too sure who he was grappling with. It looks
Karmiris.
like it was Karmiris, yeah. So we'll see both of them most likely going off.
Both number 27, and now they're back at it again. Zito skates right over, grabs him around by the scruff of the neck, basically at the collar. So Zito, if he wasn't going before, now he definitely, you think he's going. Now Callahan is in there as well.
Zito's trying to fight everybody at this point.
So McDonald's in the box already. Zito's going. Karmiris is going as well, as he was jawing with Zito. So I believe the Battalion are definitely going to have a penalty kill here. But the Steelheads will be the services of Lucas Karmiris. You think these teams have played each other a few games now?
Yeah, and again, I was expecting this from Sudbury. It looks like it'll be interesting to see. I thought that maybe Callahan might go off as well, but he's just going to be talking to the referees there. They're going to figure this out. If I had to guess, I'm assuming this is going to be a 2-minute penalty, probably the McDonald one. But they're going to try to figure this out. But either way, if you look at this period, in the last 18 and a half minutes, the Battalion found 3 goals. If you look at the story of this game, Jackson 2 goals. What a perfect time for him to find his shot in this series, as he's been a big deal. McDonald, a big goal. Again, a beautiful shot. So a big 4-0 lead. Ertel finally cracking that kind of goalless drought that he's been on as he finally finds a beautiful tip on Nelson. This has been a great game for the Battalion, and now going into this third period, regardless of how this shakes out, as it looks like it'll be just a 2minute here
for
on
Zito.
Karmiris.
No, Zito's getting
Zito.
it.
My bad,
which I figured because McDonald and Karmiris, Karmiris and Zito were going at it. McDonald was going to get the penalty regardless. And then those two went at it. Zito and Karmiris, the 227s.
Yep.
And Zito is going to be the extra guy in the box for the Battalion because of that. So Karmiris would have negated the McDonald penalty. But because of Zito, here we are. It's now a shot off the draw. Mac Donnell is turned aside by a body in front. Back to Larson. In deep now for Martone. To Larson. Larson slowly skates the puck in, decides he doesn't like what he sees. Goes across ice for Sharp. Sharp back to Larson. Larson with a cannon from the point is turned aside by DiVincentis. 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in this period. 1 minute 39 left on the Zito penalty. So this is the second period in a row in which the Battalion are likely headed to the break trying to kill somebody, or trying to kill a penalty after the intermission.
And McDonald and Carmeris will both start in the box as well. So they'll have to wait for the first whistle of the third period to be able to get out of that as well. Something to keep an eye out. But that's why that 4-0 cushion is so important for the Battalion.
Larson nearly misplayed the puck to Van Steensel. And the puck's down to the Mississauga zone for Larson. Larson in his own zone. Up ice now for Sharp. Sharp carries the puck into the Battalion zone. Hislop tried to get the loose puck, but instead Christopoulos gets to it. Sends it right to the blue line. And now it's stopped. And now Arnsby to the races. Liam Arnsby comes in, has a chance here as he skates the puck in deep. Van Steensel with another chance, turned aside by Leenders. As Arnsby was running out of room, he just tried to pass the puck. That was a good defensive effort by Sharp coming back to try and negate the chance. 20 seconds here left in the period. Hislop, as the puck comes out front, DiVincentis gets a stop on that one. Puck came out in Christopoulos' skates and just sat there. Paul Christopoulos had no idea the puck was there. Good thing for DiVincentis, he was tracking it all the way as the Steelheads had a prime chance right there.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Arnsby, kind of ran out of gas a little bit at the end, but he's going to stay out on the ice there as he's a little bit fresher. But either way, as you said, DiVincentis again, he's looked very solid, especially squaring up to the puck, and he's got a little bit of luck. Mississauga just hasn't had the bounces going their way. They've had a couple of open net opportunities, but it looks like DiVincentis having some equipment issues as he's trying to get his pad fixed.
15.3 seconds left.
So very interesting happened there when DiVincentis made the save. He stood up, the puck fell down, and he didn't know where it was. It fell down the front of his pad. Looked like right down to his skate there. So that's why he's sitting there adjusting.
Also, just a note, still 1-0 for the Timmins Rock after 40 minutes of play.
That's going to be a tough series for the Voodoos, of course. Timmins, a very good team, but
first in the league after the regular season. Battalion dumped the puck down, and that should kill all remaining time here with 8 seconds left on the clock. Leaner's out to play for Callahan. 5 seconds here as he's going to try a stretch pass up for Misa. Misa hit hard by Nelson, and the time will run out here on the second period between the Battalion and the Steelheads. The Battalion with a nice 4-0 lead after 40 minutes of play. Shots on goal favor the troops by 1, 27-26. And we're going to go to our intermission here, but not before we hear some final words here for Ben. I know you're going to have to repeat yourself a little bit in the intermission show, but how are we feeling after 40 minutes?
I think you're feeling really good. You scored 3 goals. You're up. You have a very comfy lead. Now it's just play a solid 20 minutes, get this victory, and then go to Mississauga to hopefully to secure the series.
Well, we'll have to find out here in the third period if that's what holds, if the Battalion are able to hold this lead. And with that being said, Derek Lindemann will be able to, hey.
I didn't say anything.
Don't look at me like that. You're the one that's in trouble here on the broadcast, mister. Anyways, he's Ben Long as our producer. Ben Sargent, Courtney Kenny, Derek Lindemann will be rejoining the show on the other side of this. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, and keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside Memorial Gardens, where after 2 periods of play, the Battalion outscore the Mississauga Steelheads 4-0. Taking a look at the scoring summaries, the Battalion capitalized 3 times in the middle frame. Kyle McDonald with his 4th of the playoffs got things going at 6:06. Bloom and Zito picking up the assist on McDonald's goal. And then Justin Earl with his first of the postseason on a beautiful tip as Ty Nelson with the shot and Petrov with the other assist at 13:40. And Kyle Jackson with his second of the game, second of the playoffs, giving the Battalion a 4-0 lead. Petrov and Winslow picking up the assist at 17-16. Petrov with 3 points in tonight's game on assists. 3 penalties in that second period. Lucas all occurring at the 18:35 mark as Lucas Carmiris went off for roughing, Kyle McDonald for roughing, and Pasquale Zito for roughing, all at 18:35. So as a result of that, the Steelheads will have a 35-second power play to start the third period, just as they did the second. Shots on goal through 2 periods. The Steelheads with 16 in the middle frame for a total of 26. The Battalion at 14 in the second for a game total of 27. Specialty teams tonight, the Mississauga Steelheads 0 for 3, even though they have 35 seconds still remaining. Battalion 1 for 2, all of those chances coming in the first period. Taking a look around the OHL, 2 other games on tap tonight in the Western Conference. And they are both 2-1 scores. As in Sarnia, it's the Guelph Storm looking to extend that series, holding a 2-1 lead over the Sarnia Sting. And the same goes for the Flint Firebirds. They are looking to extend their series with a 2-1 lead right now over the Saginaw Spirit. Well, Ben, good look for the North Bay Battalion in that second period. I kind of thought it was a little bit of a reverse from the first, where the Mississauga Steelheads coming out strong, dominating the first 7 or 8 minutes, but the Battalion do get a goal at the 6:06 mark from Kyle McDonald. I think that really flipped the switch for the Battalion.
Yeah, Mississauga getting a little bit unlucky as well. They had a couple of wide open nets. They had a couple of great opportunities, and I said this during the period, but the biggest thing for the Battalion is what great teams are able to do is they're able to stop bad momentum and put it back in their favor. It's something the Battalions struggle with, and they have struggled with. They have all the talent in the world on paper, but some of these small things and some of the intangible stuff, they still quite haven't taken that next step forward, which is something a little concerning when we get, assuming they get by Mississauga as we get later into the playoffs, because when they get on their heels, again, this isn't something that should have lasted 7 or 8 minutes. It should have lasted maybe an extra shift. You get the momentum back, especially against a team like Mississauga. So that's something just to keep in mind. But once they got that momentum, and again, all it comes down to is just a single shot, right? Next thing you know, it's 2-0, and they keep going. Kyle McDonald, what more can you say about this guy? Almost a goal per game now with 4 goals on the series, and he's gotten a couple of helpers as well coming into this game with 2 assists on top of that for a total of now 6 points. And of course, Kyle Jackson, a little bit hard on him at the beginning of the game because he hasn't produced. He had 2 assists, one of them on the power play, one of them back in game 1. Hasn't really been. He's shot the puck. 6 of those 12 shots coming in game 1. Couple of shots every game. We just haven't seen the Kyle Jackson. And this game, this is what the Kyle Jackson we need to see in this playoffs. He's a guy who had, I believe, was 83 points. I think it was something like that in the regular season. He was your second best point getter. He has a McDonald-esque shot. He is good. We've seen him unload that shot, and we saw it today. Goes top shelf right away in that first period, and again goes low glove side, gets another really clean shot right at the top of the circle to go by Leanders. All of a sudden, those 2 goals are a big difference maker for this battalion.
Yeah, I really think that's the difference maker, is those quality of shots that Jackson is scoring on. They're not dirty tip-in, goal mouth scrum goals. Those are clean shots from just above the circle, both of them beating Leanders to that glove hand side. Jackson with one of probably the best shots next to McDonald on this team.
And you talk about dirty tip-ins, not that it was a dirty tip-in, but how about Justin Ertel finally breaking that kind of curse that he's had. Again, 14 goals in the regular season. He did miss some time. He's a guy that probably should have ended with about 20 goals the way in that March. He had so many good opportunities to put the puck in the net, and it just felt like the puck was bouncing or something was happening to keep that from happening. And finally, it's Nelson with a nice little shot blocker side, and Ertel with a beautiful tip to finally kind of get going and end the curse and get his first OHL playoff goal of his career, so good for him.
Yeah, down at ice level, I know I was debating it with the 2 photographers between the bench.
Yep.
Was it an Ertel tip-in, or was it Ty Nelson hitting the stick on purpose of Ertel? Because from where I was, it looked like the stick was there, and Ty Nelson took a look and hit his target.
Either way, I'm pretty sure Justin will take it at this point.
Oh,
but,
definitely.
I think there was a little bit of Nelson looking for that side, and but overall, great coordination from both of those guys as it ends up with, I believe that was the 3rd goal of the period.
3rd goal, and to me, the heartbreaker, though, is that 4th goal from Jackson, the second of the night. And it'll be interesting to see how the Mississauga Steelheads played the 3rd period. Got a little rough at the end of the 2nd, and will that continue over, knowing that Game 6 is Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock back in Mississauga.
Yeah, and you got to ask when Camiras comes, because remember, McDonald and Camiras, they're stuck in the box until the first whistle, right? Because they had that 2-minute coincidental. So the question is Zito and Camiras, is that going to be a storyline in that 3rd period? As Zito kind of went in with him, he had Von Richter was there, Callahan was there. There was a bunch of Steelheads that he kind of went after. So we'll have to kind of see with that. The big thing for the battalion is you just got to continue to play that game. You have a 4-goal lead. You just need to play a solid 20 minutes. And when the battalion are really good in the 3rd period is when they're playing good offense, when they're eating up time in the offensive zone and not allowing a lot of shots on Dom. Even though they've allowed 26 shots in this game, they have played a lot better than they've played in the first 2 games in this building.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we've talked about in the past, is how Ryan Uland and the battalion coming out in the 3rd period with a big lead. Do you sit back on your heels and protect that lead, or do you keep what works to get that 4-goal lead, and that's playing offense?
Yeah, exactly. You can't sit on your heels, because as soon as they get one, we saw this against Sudbury, right? They get one right away, and the next thing you know, you give up a 4-goal lead, right, in the 3rd period. You've got to continue playing the exact game. Well, maybe not the first 8 minutes, but other than that, if you take that away, the first 32 minutes of this hockey game, you've got to play that same way, and you just got to keep the pressure on them, and it's all about killing off the clock, and that's kind of the big key.
Wow, 40 minutes are gone, and what we like to do here on the front line is look back at our 2 performers that we identified as our players to watch before the game, and those players are brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our player to watch tonight for the Steelheads, Xander Vikia, held off of the scoreboard, is a -1 on the night, has registered 4 shots on goal. But the storyline is our player to watch, the battalion's Kyle Jackson, coming in tonight's game with 2 assists, picks up where we feel he should be, 2 goals on the night, leading the troops both the 1st and the 4th.
Exactly, and that's kind of like that was the big thing with again getting Kyle Jackson going. It's the difference maker in this game. He gets that early goal. He gets kind of that kind of almost dagger goal with the fourth one. But what it does mostly, Derek, is that it gives you it gives him confidence going into Game 6. I feel like he can get into his rhythm and say, you know what, I can beat Leanders. Maybe he finds his release point that he didn't have before. But at the end of the day, hopefully we see him get back on that score sheet in Game 6, and hopefully this game doesn't come back for a Game 7.
Definitely, and Jackson is one of those players that we wanted to see get going. And I think the troops are going to continue with that and try and pick up some momentum in this 3rd period and bring that momentum into Game 6 against the Steelheads. Dom DiVincentis, 26 saves so far. I happened to be behind the goal in that last little scrum where he reached behind to grab that puck out of midair that was behind him. he seems to be focused and has laser-like eyesight in there.
Well, the last time we saw him in this building was game 2, and he didn't look like the Dom. Not that he was bad in any way. He still stopped over 40 shots, but he didn't look like the Dom DiVincentis we know, which is almost that Carey Price-esque, calm, collected guy that has really good puck tracking ability. He was a little bit late east to west. He was a little bit, you can tell he just didn't feel comfortable between the pipes, even though he still played really, really well. In this game, none of that. He looks very confident. He made a really nice cross-ice pass save on Vecchia to the point where it didn't look that hard. It looked like a really easy save, but it was just because he did such a good job anticipating and cracking that puck over. He didn't give Vecchia any chance to shoot that puck, and he's looked very strong. And for him, again, a little bit of luck that Mississauga hasn't been able to really get some sticks in a couple of really good opportunities. There was one where it bounced off the end boards, had a wide open net. They couldn't do anything. So it's been a combination of good defense with a little bit of luck, too, on the Battalion side.
Looking at these shots category over the last 3 games, last 4 games actually, the Battalion giving up a lot of shots in that home plate area. Out in front, Dom DiVincentis' Battalion doing excellent tonight, clearing that center zone. 2 shots coming from that home plate area only tonight.
Exactly, and you look at that graph, which you can find on the OHL website, it's a lot from the point, it's a lot from these bad angles and these dots. And what's great about these shots, again, is it's Dom being squared to the pucks. He's not moving east to west. These aren't cross-ice passes where you get really good opportunities. He's pretty much squared up to the puck. And for a guy like Dom, who's, again, that NHL-esque kind of goaltender where he'll stop pretty much anything he's squared to, you really got to pinpoint it right to you got to make a perfect shot, like high up in the corners, something that it's got to be a goal scorer's goal, and he really takes a lot of angles. And again, the nice thing for him is that OHL guys just aren't at that level that the AHL, NHL guys are at, which means it makes his life a lot easier when you have that kind of elite positioning, and I think that's what makes him so good in this league.
So the Mississauga Steelheads down 4. Have only 3 power plays on this night. They seem to be living and dying on that power play. How do they play the third to try and generate some offense to cut back into this?
You've got to be aggressive. You've got to play this kind of man-to-man and force the Battalion to play bad. You can't play on your heels. You've got to force the Battalion to make mistakes, especially when they have the puck in their own defensive zone, and you just got to be as aggressive. At this point, you're down 4-0. You just got to play as aggressive as you can. If you give up breakaways, you give up breakaways. You got to find goals, and you've got to at least score 1 in the first maybe 5 minutes, and you got to find maybe 2 in the first 10 if you want to even have a hope of coming back into this hockey game.
While the Battalion lead Game 5 by a score of 4-0 as they look to go up 1 game in this best-of-7 series. When we return, Courtney Kenny will rejoin Ben Sargent with all the action here as you're watching Steelheads Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
welcome you back inside Memorial Gardens. It's the Battalion with a big 3-goal second period. They're up 4-0 again, find themselves on the penalty kill with 35 seconds left in the Zito penalty as McDonald, Zito, and Camiris all in the penalty box. They're going to have to wait for the first whistle to come out.
Belliari now in net for the Mississauga Steelheads as well.
As we welcome back Courtney Kenny, as you say, Belliari getting his, I believe this is his first time.
It is.
As he was not in any of the games so far, so Leaner is getting a bit of a break again. 16-year-old rookie has done a phenomenal job, but the Battalion with Kyle Jackson, McDonald, and Ertl Stipp, what more can you say?
Exactly. The Battalion have been fantastic here throughout 40 minutes. Hopefully it continues here through the final 20. The Steelheads with possession in their own zone in this period in the road whites going left to right. The Battalion in their home greens are going right to left as the puck is back to the point in the Battalion zone for Sharp. Sharp in for McDonnell, but it's off his skate and sent down the ice, and Bagliari will get his first touch of the game as he backhands the puck up. 5 seconds left on the Zito penalty as the puck sent across ice, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey as Zito rejoins the play. Puck sent in, and it's knocked down by the Battalion, and the Battalion will chase after it. Now Callahan with possession, or Misa rather, tries to get into the Battalion zone, but Ertel gets to it and throws the puck up ice for Petrov. Petrov in the near side corner. Loses it to Harding. Harding up the ice quickly for Martone. To Vecchia. Vecchia, his pass up ice is turned aside by Winslow. And now Larson has it. Sends the puck down the ice, so we'll get an icing call. 3,975 the attendance here in North Bay. And that will put them at 18th highest in Battalion history for attendance in the playoffs. Passing Friday, March 30th, 2001 against Guelph in Guelph. Brampton won that game 4-1, but that is also for the Battalion.
That's the second highest quarterfinal.
That's the 8th highest or 9th highest in North Bay Battalion history at home in the playoffs. And yeah, the Battalion, the puck sent back down the ice. Divinchett is going to cover that up, or rather he quickly gives it to Winslow. That was because they used to be in the Western Conference.
Well,
Brampton.
the last quarterfinal they had was April 1st, 2014.
Cross ice for Bloom. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, that was against Niagara where the Battalion won 2-1.
And that was a Game 5 as well, I believe.
It doesn't tell me, but I would assume so.
Well, that would have been the first round of their first year here in town. Out front for Bloom! He scores! Zito sent it out front, and Josh Bloom made no mistake from the slot. Makes it 5-0 here for the Battalion.
Well, again, we talked about Bloom getting going, and that's what he's done in this series. You got to give him a lot of credit here, as this will be now his second goal of the series, his 4th point. He's also got 2 assists, and that's a big dagger to the heart of Mississauga. You come out and you say, okay, you look, you try to get something going early on, and now it's 5-0. They put Belliari in that. I believe that was his first shot as well. Maybe it was. Yeah, his first shot.
The Battalion.
Tough day to be a Mississauga net
The
minder.
Battalion first shot of each period has found the back of the net. Kyle Jackson in the first, Kyle McDonald in the second, and now Josh Bloom here in the third period.
I'm going to
first
trust you
shot
on
of each
that one.
period.
I haven't paid attention to that. But
Harrison from the Garrison is up here, and we were talking about that during the
There you
intermission. The crazy thing is the McDonald goal came 6 minutes into the period.
they're looking at something, I think, so.
Oh, don't ruin it for me now. Come on.
It's not as bad as the Nelson goal.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, come on.
Classic offside. At least it's just one, though, where, I don't know, it's hard to, well, we can't really tell on the monitors there, but.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird angle.
It's a very, very quick call, though. Which, I don't, or maybe not. He had the phone, he gave the phone back. Now he has the headset on.
Yeah, Game 5 of the conference quarterfinal. North Bay won that series, or won that game 4-3, so it passed that game. And then if you remember at that time, the Battalion found themselves down 3-1 in that series when they were the 2nd seed and Niagara was the 7th.
Yep, and that's officially a goal as they make the call down here at ice level. So Bloom is second of the of the series. And look, if you look at this is a pretty commanding win for the North Bay Battalion. That's going to be a lot of great momentum going into Game 6 as well. I know you're going on the road, but they have proved that they can play decently in the road in Mississauga when they did in Game 3.
Well, we saw Ottawa had a bit of a bee in their bonnet as they didn't like Oshawa winning a game, so they came out 1-9-0.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard a bee in the bonnet?
A bee in the bonnet. No.
Oh, come on, Ben.
That really
live a
dates
little.
you.
My lower back does wake up on fire most mornings, so Josh Bloom. But yeah, so the 67s winning their game 9-0. The Battalion kind of coming out here with a bit of the same fire and intensity. Schwint battling now with Procession. Procession knocked off the puck as it comes out for Bagliari. And Bagliari covers that one up. And Wakely and Schwint are exchanging some words behind the net as well.
It kind of gives you kind of feelings of that last game of the season that they played against each other. Just that where the Battalion kind of went away with this on the scorecard, at least on the scoreboard. But
that's the other thing that's weird is this is Game 5 of the series, but it's the 6th straight these teams have played against each other.
Yeah, that is true.
So they're a little bit more acquainted with each other than normal.
Yeah, and they played a lot in January, February as well. A lot of their schedule is kind of in the back end of the season. It felt like, at least from I feel like they played a decent amount of their games in that January, February stretch where Mississauga played really well and Battalion were kind of struggling.
Up the ice now for Zabeski. He throws it in, and it's just wide of the net. Puck flipped up in the air. Petrov gets to it. Slap pass up the ice, looking for Jackson. Didn't find his intended target. And now Zabeski sends it back for Sharp. Sharp up for Misa. Misa battling with Dezot, and it goes in for Hislop. Hislop with the puck up for Jackson. Jackson went to go cross ice. It hit a body in front. Now goes to Petrov. Petrov flips the puck in. Picking up that puck is Dezot. Now Harding with possession. 16:40 here in this third period. Battalion are up 5-0. Big hit lined up there by Christopoulos. Just missed his man. Now Hislop up for Christopoulos. He gives the puck to Jackson. Jackson to Tarasevic. Back to Jackson. Jackson skates the puck into the offensive zone. Sends it back to the point for Hislop. Hislop throws it on net. Bagliari with a save. Tarasevic tried to throw that one back out front too, but it hit a body. Now down the ice for McDonnell. For Hislop. Hislop battles for it. Gets it back to the point though for Harding. Harding keeps it in. Martone goes in for McDonnell. McDonnell with the shot. Saved by DiVincentis. And it's 5-0 Timmins as well over the Voodoo. So that escalated pretty quickly.
Yeah. Voodoo's can come back. We'll see.
Well, we'll see it.
Oh, that's interesting. Luke Mesa on.
Look, Misa.
Misa.
You were joking about this off air about Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. His name, that's how I suppose his name. Anyways, he's -5 today. He's been on the ice for every single goal. And how much of that's bad luck? Like,
I really, you know what? It's funny. I said this last year when I saw him as a rookie. I really like him. He's a very impressive player, but yeah, a lot of that not coming well. Thank you, Mike Brito, for the information. Puck sent in on net. And is blocked out of play. And Mike Brito and I are in a bit of this pickle here with the Tuesday game if it goes to 7.
Yeah.
Because we have a Battalion game and then we have a Voodoo's game in Powassan for Game 4 of that series.
Just split yourself in half. Go to both.
I might have to if cloning was a possibility.
Well, hopefully they finish things off. I believe the next game's Sunday, correct?
Next game is in Mississauga Sunday at 2 o'clock.
So hopefully they finish things off there and it won't be a problem.
And the Voodoos happen to play Sunday as well, but at home at 7 o'clock.
Hopefully it won't be a problem.
Should be a lively crowd at the Powassan Sportsplex. It has been all playoffs long so far.
Hopefully they can tie things up as well, assuming that the 5-0 stands.
Zidlicki in with a hard hit from Arnsby. He sends the puck down the ice. Bagliari out to play the puck. Leaves it for the captain, Callahan. Callahan around behind his net. Now he twists and turns and sends it up ice for Zidlicki. Zidlicki goes cross ice. His pass missing everybody, and it'll go for icing as Winslow's the first one back on that one. And the Battalion will get an offensive zone draw with 15-13 left in this third period.
Talking about the Boston series, though, one of those series that you kind of think, oh, they're probably going to get killed because Timmins is a really good team. They've got really good, probably the best student netminders in the league. But they came out with, they just lost 4-3, so very close first game. This game obviously going a little bit out of hand, but
McDonald powering his way to the front of the net. Couldn't get a shot away, though, however. Has some good stick checks by the Steelheads. Keeps McDonald in check. Looking to upgrade his Big Mac to a double Big Mac. Bruskowski up ice for Bloom. Sends it cross ice for Zito. Zito with some speed. Had the puck hop over his stick, but he still gets it into the offensive zone. Zito walks across the line. Gets it to Bruskowski. Bruskowski flips the puck back in, cross ice. And Bloom will chase after it. Bloom to Zito. Zito taken hard off the puck there by Sharp. And now the puck is bouncing around in the neutral zone with McDonald picking it up. Kyle McDonald over for Bruskowski. Up to Kennedy. To McDonald. McDonald flips the puck down the ice. Bagliari out to play the puck as it came across the blue paint. Larson up for Dezot. Dezot gains the zone and just throws the puck on net. Then he tries to throw Christopoulos on net right on top of DiVincentis, but Christopoulos thankfully stays up on both feet, and we'll get a stoppage here.
Well, DiVincentis has faced, I don't know if they're going to count this as a shot, probably not, but 28 shots so far. And it doesn't feel like he's faced that many. It does not feel he's had a pretty, I wouldn't say easy night, but he's had an easy, they will count that as 29 shots as they're kind of lagging behind in the shots department. But DiVincentis, again, he's not having a super busy night. Doesn't feel like he's had to make too many great saves. He looks very solid, and at the end of the day, I mean, the big thing with Battalion are they've played consistently so far in all three periods. Really, there was maybe a 7-8 minute stretch in that set to begin the second period, but for the most part, if you're Ryan Houlihan and the team, you got to be encouraged by what you see here in this hockey game.
Well, we talk about first shots on goal as Van Steensel with some speed down the ice. He won't have a good shooting lane for it, though, as he plays back the puck. Van Steensel back to the point for Hislop. Leaves it for Tarasevich, who takes a shot well wide of the net. Van Steensel picks up the loose puck now. Skating around, tries to find it out front for Armsby. Armsby trying to get a shot away. Bagliari's going to cover that one up, and then we're going to get some more rough stuff after the whistle with the captain and a bit of a scrum. These two teams definitely do not like each other too much.
And there's probably some frustration from Mississauga. Again, they come into this series with absolutely nothing to lose. They're the underdogs. Looks like a couple of people going off to the box as well, but they're the underdogs. They're literally nothing to lose, and they brought this all the way to a game 6 now, which is very impressive. They've outplayed the Battalion in quite a few ways. It looks like Armsby is going, the lone man going off here.
Back to the point, though, of that 6-minute stretch in the second period. Really, it was 6 minutes because the McDonald. We talk about first shot on net. McDonald's shot came at 6:06 in the second period.
Yeah, and
that was the first shot of the period for the Battalion.
And again, the Battalion got a little lucky, right? It's 1-0 game at that point. There was at least one really good empty net chance that they weren't able to. That Mississauga was not able to capitalize on. I think they hit a post in there as well. So looks like Armsby off 2 minutes for roughing here. But so far, Mississauga's held off the power play.
In deep for Martone. Martone back to the point for Sharp. Cross ice. Sharp going across the blue line to Callahan. In for Martone. Martone's chance negated there by Zito as he flips it up for Hislop. And Hislop gets the puck down the ice as he's being hauled down. Scott Ray immediately incensed on the no call there with his hands up in the air.
Nelson also there on the end of the bench, putting his 2 cents in. Still giving it to the referee.
In for Hardy. Hardy to Callahan. Back to Sharp. Sharp throws his puck wide of the net. And Ertel gets to it and sends that one down the ice with 1:15 left on the man advantage. Bagliari for Callahan. Callahan with some speed gains the Battalion zone. His centering pass hits Carmiras, and DiVincentis knocks that one away. Puck down the ice, minute left in the Armsby penalty. And now Harding with the puck at his goaltender. Bagliari leaves the puck behind for Larson. Larson picks up the puck behind the net. Goes up ice for Schwint. Schwint gains the Battalion zone. And now Van Steensel with it. Van Steensel in the corner. Battling with Ertel. Ertel with Winslow. Gets it back down to Larson to Harding. Harding takes a shot, bouncing in front of the net. And a good chance there is negated by Nelson. Nelson sends the puck down the ice, hits the glass. It's going to get to Bloom. Bloom with an arm around him by Harding. And the puck is going to come off his stick for Larson. Now down for Schwint to Larson. Larson up to Carmiris. Carmiris flip the puck in, but McDonald gets to it first. And the Battalion send it right back down the ice. Now 5 seconds left in the man advantage as Arnsby gets set to rejoin the play. Just under 12 minutes remain in this third period as well. Arnsby out on the ice, 5-on-5. Sharp throws the puck around the end wall to Vecchia. Vecchia to Misa. Misa with a good stick by Christopoulos, stops him up. And now Hislop, well, if we've seen anything, we know this is a chance for the Battalion to score with Misa out on the ice apparently. McDonald flips the puck in, can't get it past the body of a Steelhead player. And it's going to be stopped up by Christopoulos, and Christopoulos will send it right around the end wall to Petrov. Misa walks around, throws it up the ice for Petrov. Petrov with a sharp angle shot, and that one's blocked in front to Misa. Misa back to Bruskowski. Bruskowski sends the puck back in. Von Richter with the puck up the ice. It's lost, and Jackson gets it back to his defenseman Kennedy to Bruskowski. Bruskowski to Ertel. Ertel tried to touch the puck over to Jackson, but it's going to flip up the ice. A couple of broken sticks on the ice too. 3 of them now. 2 in the Battalion end and 1 in the neutral zone now as Petrov skates the puck in, takes the shot, just missed the net. Bruskowski, 10:40 left. He overplayed the puck and now it's down the ice. Van Volsen was on that one quickly. Now Dezot gains the zone. Dezot walks in, takes a shot, blocked down by DiVincentis. Ertel leaves it for Jackson and almost gave that one away. And the Battalion just flip it up and out of their own zone. And the Steelheads send it right back around. Hardy keeps the puck in deep. Bruskowski comes in with it. Behind the net, stops up, slows things down. 10-12 here remaining in this third period. Romani skating around in his own zone. Sends the puck behind the net, although it bounced off the net and hit the net. And now it's left behind for Romani to try and pick up again. And then a pass back to the point, hits one of those broken sticks, and goes all the way back down for Mississauga in their own zone. A little lucky there for the Battalion. Now Martone chasing after the puck. Winslow will be the first to that as he takes a hit to try and make a play. Wakely for Procession. Procession gains the red line, gains the blue line. Over to Wakely, back in for Procession. Procession with a chance. Walking in, stopped by Bagliari. And now we get a few whacks. Romani getting into it, Wakely getting into it with Larson. Procession coming in to help out. As now everybody on the ice has a partner. As Wakely gets whacked in the face by Larson. As now he's trying to knock Wakely's stick away from him. But the big, now there's equipment on the ice as well. As sticks are flying on the other side between Romani and Martone. The only people who didn't have a dancing partner were the goalies, Nelson and Hislop. As now Martone's going to be shown the gate. And that'll bring us to our mid-period break here. Will any Battalion player be sent to the box? We'll find out on the other side of this.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
All right, Derek, we're back from break now. The Battalion are up 5-0. They've scored a goal on the first shot of every period so far in this game. Going up 5-0 here off Josh Bloom. What's going on here with the penalties right now? I just see one up there on the board for Martone.
Yeah, just the 2 minutes up on the board now for Martone. North Bay getting lucky to get out of this without getting a player on the penalty box, as they will get a power play opportunity. And it's just, North Bay has done everything right here in this third period. They've kept their foot on the gas. They picked up that 5th goal, and Mississauga is trying to find a way to dig North Bay into taking penalties and try and get some momentum, as they know it's going to be Game 6 Sunday afternoon in Mississauga, and they're trying to do whatever they can to get a little momentum for that home game.
Derek, I think you should know that Ben Long wasn't able to look at the 50-50 ticket because he was too busy calling you, so you should feel a little special. We'll hear from you as the game goes on. Of course, Jackson now with a chance short hit, or on the power play, in for Zito. So Martone for roughing, As the puck is sent down, Nelson gloves that one. Sends it up for Petrov. Misses him, and now Callahan sends the puck down the ice, or so he thought, as Petrov kept that in. Battalion getting lucky here on a couple of those clearing attempts. But now it's to Nelson. Nelson. Back round in for Romani. Romani carries the puck into the zone to Jackson. Jackson looking to complete the hat trick. Flips the puck back in for Nelson. Nelson walks in. Leaves it for Jackson on the near side wall. Jackson, nowhere to go, so he goes back to Nelson. Nelson cross ice for Petrov. Petrov up front for Wazito. He tried to send it to Romani, and then Nelson keeps the clearing attempt in. Back to Petrov. Petrov looking to go cross ice. Good stick there by Vecchia. Keeps that one from going down the ice, and then, or going to his target, but the Battalion had to vacate quickly as the Steelheads did get it out, but not for too long. But now the Steelheads will go for an actual long dump out here with 45 seconds remaining on the power play. Winslow with 30 seconds left on the power play for McDonald. McDonald to Ertel with Wakely chasing after it. Back in now for McDonald, but he can't keep the line. And now Bloom battling to get in. We're going to get another penalty here against Mississauga, likely for hooking here, as Bloom was knocked to the ice as well. And there it is, the hooking call. So for 24 seconds, the Battalion will have a 5-on-3 here to try and snuff out whatever life Mississauga has in this game.
Yeah, and the big thing too with these penalties is it kills off time from the clock. So when this penalty will expire, there'll be only 5:55 left, and that's what this game has become, is just trying to kill off. And Mississauga just does not. You can see that they look really deflated out there, as it looks like there'll be some licking going off for that hook on Bloom. And again, they look so. They look extremely just disheartened out there, and that's a good thing for the Battalion. If you can take that and bring that momentum into Game 6, it's got to be tough. Mississauga's played such a great series, and then all of a sudden it's like they have a big uphill battle in the next two games.
Bloom in for the draw. Wins it back to McDonald. McDonald leaves it for Winslow at the point to McDonald. Quickly back to Winslow, playing pitch and catch to Bloom. 13 seconds here before it's back to 5-on-4. Bloom fake the shot, and that one's going to go and hit a Steelhead stick and be sent down the ice. And we're back to 5-on-4 as Martone's back in the play. Wakely for McDonald. McDonald flips the puck in for Bloom. Bloom back in for Ertel. Ertel to the point for Winslow. Winslow cross ice to McDonald at the point. McDonald flips that puck in for Bloom. Back to the point for McDonald. McDonald switching spots with Winslow. Winslow walks in. Winslow with the shot. Turned away by Bagliari. Now Wakely with a chance. He couldn't get the puck to settle down. In for Bloom. A minute left here on the power play. Back for Winslow. Winslow walks the line. Gives it to Bloom. Back to the point for Winslow. Winslow fake shot to McDonald. Sharp angle one-time attempt there by Big Mac, and is turned aside by Bagliari. Now a big quick pass up the ice from DiVincentis. McDonald in, takes the shot, and that was a good stick there by Harding on the back check. Off a great pass by DiVincentis. Back to Nelson. In for Jackson now as the Battalion change power play units. 30 seconds remain. Nelson scores! Make it 6-0. Ty Nelson with his second of the playoffs.
Well, how about, as you said, his second of the playoffs, that goes cleanly in. Blocker side on Bagliari, and his second point of the game as well, as he had that assist on the Ertel goal earlier on. So now give Nelson in 5 games 6 points. Pretty impressive for the young man, as he's done everything and more, it seems, in this series. And I believe that was still a power play goal, right?
It was indeed.
Yeah, there you go. Second power play goal of the game for the Battalion as well.
Great effort there for the troops. Ty Nelson coming alive here in the playoffs. As we talk about, he was over a point a game in the regular season as a defenseman. One of the best offensive defensemen in the league. One of the best players in the league as well. Liam Arnsby, cross ice for Paul Christopoulos. Christopoulos gains the zone, or gains the red line and flips it in. Battalion also lead 36-31 in shots. Van Steensel in the high slot, tried to pass it off, and it was knocked down by the Steelheads. Down to Hislop. Hislop up ice quickly for Tarasevich. Tarasevich goes cross ice for Van Steensel. Van Steensel trying to walk in. He does, as Arnsby takes out Bagliari as he was pushed into the net by Leskovar. Hardy up the ice. Less than 6 minutes here in the period. Tries to flip the puck in for his man, but couldn't find him. Now it's to Hislop. Hislop behind the net. Up for Christopoulos. Christopoulos back to Hislop in his own zone. Hislop to Romani. Romani cross ice for Wakely. Wakely to Procession. Procession overskated the puck and fell down. He gets it back to Bruskowski though. Bruskowski to Kennedy, and now the puck off the boards and sent in for Gordon. Gordon tried to flip the puck out. Wakely stopped that, but now Vecchia gets to it. And the Steelheads try to flip it past Kennedy. Kennedy gloved that one down and threw it down the ice. 5 minutes here left in the third period. 6-0 Battalion lead. And the puck is knocked up and out of play, but it landed back in the field of play, or ice of play, I guess you could call it. Rink of play, something of play. Hockey's happening. Let's do that hockey.
Yeah, with exactly 5 minutes to go. 6-0 now for the North Bay Battalion as they are 5 minutes away from clinching a Game 5 victory, which will be big as they go to Mississauga Sunday afternoon to try to close the series out. And hopefully they can play the exact same game they played here in Mississauga, and they can keep some of these goals for them as well. As we've seen Jackson with a couple, we've seen McDonald, Ertel, we've seen Nelson with a goal, Bloom with a goal.
And it's official now. The Voodoos will find themselves in a 2-0 hold, or 2-0 hole, as they come down back to Powassan Sunday for Game 3 at 7 o'clock from the Sportsplex. We'll have that game for you on the Frontline Game Day broadcast, of course, as the Voodoos lose Game 2, 5-0 to the Timmins Rock. Sharp throwing the puck cross ice. Misa back around behind the net. And it's going to come to Bloom on the near side half wall. Bloom leaves it for Zito. Up the ice for McDonald now. He has one man to beat. Skates the puck in, taken off the puck by Sharp as Sharp came back with a vengeance. Nelson throws Sharp to the ice. Now it's to Dezot. Dezot fans on his shot. And the puck now back around behind the net. 4 minutes left in this third period. Battalion up 6-0. Bloom. Cross ice for McDonald. McDonald flips the puck back in. And Hardy will have to pick it up behind his net. Is now Zito mixing it up in front of the bench. Or in front of the, or Derek Lindemann is between the benches. Martone. Back for Hardy. Hardy in for Martone. You can just tell he's going to be a fun player to watch. This is just his rookie season here with the Steelheads. He's going to be a fun player to watch coming up.
A lot of young Mississauga players playing this.
Gaining valuable experience. You saw that with the Battalion last year. Has now a quick chance there by Petrov, who came in almost in the blue paint, stopped by Bagliari. And guess what? Another scrum after the whistle, this time with Ertel and Leskovar.
Well, it's been very impressive with Mississauga is the fact that, yeah, they've won 2 games in this series, but 11 players for the Battalion have scored at least 1 goal in this series. If you look at Mississauga, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, and most of their goal production coming from Hardy with 4 goals, McDonald with 3, Vecchia with 2, and then of course Callahan and Larson each have a goal. So it's been it's been a lot of Hardy, a lot of pretty much Hardy and McDonald for the most part, and it's been impressive that they've been able to stop that. It looks like Christopoulos going off to the box as well here.
No, Ertel and Leskovar. So it'll be 4-on-4 hockey here for the next 2 minutes.
I looked at the wrong side of the scoreboard.
You need your rest check?
Yeah.
Are you an umpire in baseball?
Pretty much.
Puck up the ice for the Steelheads. Schwint gains the zone. Takes a shot. Gloved down by DiVincentis.
Speaking of glove down and umpires in baseball, you can catch our 3-2 Count podcast, broadcasted weekly.
Although we haven't done it in the last couple of weeks because, well, life's been a little bit busy with the playoffs, which kind of sucks because, hey, opening day's come and gone. The Blue Jays have already had some struggles, but they've turned it back around here the last couple of games against Kansas City.
Yep, home opener coming up on Tuesday against Detroit as well. They start against LA in about 18 minutes.
If my boss is listening to this, I may or may not be at work on Tuesday.
Well, it's Tuesday night, though. So.
No, I may or may not go to Toronto. I don't know.
Oh,
try to get last-minute tickets. No, that's not going to happen. I went to the home opener last year. It was amazing.
Well, not the first inning.
No. Thanks, Jose Barrios. Off to the same start this year. As now Harding walks in, takes a shot Blocked down by DiVincentis. Now another chance. A few whacks at it. Stopped in front of the net. But the puck is still free. Mississauga with their best chance. Yeah, what a save by DiVincentis! Oh my goodness, what robbery there by the goaltender! And then we get another scrum here as DiVincentis brings the 7th man to his feet. He was down and out and jumped up and gloved that one down. Better than any Gold Glover I've ever seen in baseball.
Well, yeah, we were talking about baseball. What a save by DiVincentis, as you said. Down and out, and then he's able to track that puck into his glove. What an absolute save. We're able to see the replay here. As again, this is one of those ones where you get so caught up with where the puck is loose, that Mississauga gets easily their best chance of the game. And Dom with a huge glove save, even though it's they're up 6 with 2:35 to go. And again, they're playing 4-on-4 at this point as well.
Oh my goodness, I just don't know what to say after that. Well, it gets to a point where you should get used to a big Dom DiVincentis save, but every time he finds a way to outdo himself. Like, it's like...
Got a couple of those highlight of the week saves.
Dom, I only have so many adjectives, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
You gotta get your thesaurus out.
I do. You gotta check your eyes, I gotta get my thesaurus.
There you go. We have homework.
As long as that air horn keeps working, I'm happy. Winslow with a minute left on the 4-on-4. Now, a couple of Battalion player Christopoulos and Van Volsen both kicked from the game. Misa takes a shot. That was bobbled by DiVincentis. Now Arnsby with it. 2 minutes left here in this third period. Skating around, Tarasevic to Arnsby. As the puck comes around, and another chance there by the Battalion. Is now a Battalion player down on the ice. That's Tarasevic. Dezot up the ice as he skates the puck in. Dezot knocked down, and the net comes off its moorings as Dezot was taken hard into the net. And that's a big stop there by DiVincentis again.
Yeah, and as we look, a minute 40 to go, 17 seconds still left to on the 2 penalties. We saw, again, Christopoulos getting, and I didn't remember the Mississauga player getting kicked out for getting a game misconduct here late in the period. But overall, again, you got to be incredibly happy for Ryan Houlihan, who, you know, maybe we look at him being like, it's a long series, there's a lot to go, and we go, where's the urgency from the coaching staff? But I think,
it's almost like he's been here before.
Yeah, he's a little more level-headed than...
It's almost like as a player he's been here before too.
Yeah.
Brskowski with the puck on the near side wall, leaves it for Wakely. Wakely goes cross ice to Kennedy. A minute and a half here remain in this third period. We're going to get back to 5-on-5 hockey as Leskovar and Ertel are about to rejoin the play. And they are. Both skate across to their respective benches. And Wakely carries the puck down the ice. Wakely gains the zone. Tries to get the puck and a shot in on Bagliari. But it bobbles up and out of his hands, and it just rolls in on Bagliari. And now we'll get another stoppage here with a minute 12 left. 6-0 Battalion lead.
Well, Dallin Wakely quietly putting up 2 goals as well in this playoff series. Same with like Anthony Romani, 3 goals for him as well. We talked about them being underrated. I accidentally said overrated. I meant underrated on the podcast.
We got you on that one pretty quick, though.
Yeah, we fixed that one, so don't worry. Though you heard about it a little bit after. So
yeah.
I gotta stop ruffling feathers.
You do.
That was accidental, though.
Speaking of, I got a message from a fan, Jason, who says, Ben mentioned with Derek how our boys relax and the other team comes back. If this happens, give Ben a love tap, is what he said. So it looks like you're safe today.
Well, I was very quick to say that they should not relax too much.
A minute left. It's like
there for the
you're going to be a meme here soon enough.
Oh, probably. That's okay. Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to take the brunt of all
Wakely
the parents.
out front for procession. And just misses the side of the net. 50 seconds here remain in this third period. 6-0 Battalion lead. 45 seconds between them and a 3-2 series lead heading into Game 6 on Sunday. Up to Vecchia. Vecchia down the ice. Misses DiVincentis to Hislop. Hislop out for Wakely. Wakely to Romani. Romani looks down the ice for Procession. Procession will be the first one on it, but he'll be in the corner. 20 seconds here between the Battalion and a Game 5 win here at home to improve the record to 5-0 at home all time. Vecchia with the shot turned aside by DiVincentis. 12 seconds, another chance. Misses the net. Now the puck's out of the zone. 8 seconds. Another chance knocked into the Battalion zone. Kennedy and Dom DiVincentis with a 37 save shutout. His first shutout in Battalion playoff history since March 31st, 2016. Jake Smith took the Battalion up 2-0 on the Peterborough Petes, and he's the first North Bay goaltender not named Jake Smith with a shutout in the playoffs. So joining some rarefied company there, the Battalion will be looking for Easter gold on Sunday with a series win in Mississauga, 2:00 p.m.
Yeah, and Dom almost getting that back in game one before Hardy broke the shutout with about 5 minutes to go. I saw you getting the paper ready. I was like, there's still some time left, but at the end of the day, what a big win for the Battalion. They pick up a huge 6-0 victory, and they have all the momentum going into Sunday, where hopefully we're not going to be back here Tuesday night for Game 7.
Well, there will be a Voodoo's game Tuesday night regardless, so there is hockey Tuesday night for the front line regardless. Whether or not it's here or in Pulaski, we don't know. With that being said, though, we're going to go to a quick break. You'll hear from Ryan Houlihan on our social medias post-game as well. For Ben Long, Derek Lindemann, and this is Ben Sargent, I'm Courtney Kenny. As always, keep your eye, or as some people have told me, keep your ear on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, and keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
As we welcome you back here to the post-game show on this Good Friday, and well, it was a good Friday for the North Bay Battalion as they picked up a 6-0 Game 5 victory, a huge victory over the Mississauga Steelheads. They have a chance to close the series out Sunday afternoon in Mississauga. You can catch that one on CHL TV, of course, or you can go down to the game as well if you're on your way to Mississauga on your Easter Sunday. Again, the Battalion, if they can't secure it on Sunday, will come back here for Game 7 on Tuesday evening. We'll have that game, of course, if it is necessary, starting at 6:50, puck drop at 7:07. Let's take a quick look at our 3 stars of the game, brought to you by Dave's Automotive. As for the 3rd star is, of course, Matvei Petrov with a pair of assists. The 2nd star of being Kyle Jackson, who had a pair of goals, as I kind of forgot that one. And, of course, Dom DiVincentis with the first shutout since 2016 against Peterborough. And Jake Smith picked up the last shutout for a Battalion goaltender, only the 2nd in North Bay history, as he gets 37 saves for that one. Let's take a quick look at the scoring summary in that 3rd period. Josh Bloom kicks things off at the 2:02 mark, assisted from Zito and Brustowski, and of course Ty Nelson at the 13:29 mark from Kyle Jackson and Pasquale Zero, the second power play goal for the Battalion. And again, Mississauga held off the score sheet as they put in 37 shots. The shots on goal tied at 11 in that third period. The North Bay Battalion outshooting the Steelheads 38-37. As, of course, don't forget, if Game 7 isn't necessary, we will have some Voodoo's hockey as they take on the Timmins Rock. They are down 2-0 in that series. Timmins, of course, will come to Powassan Sunday night, a game you can catch here starting at 7 o'clock, 6:50 starting time for our broadcast. And then Tuesday night, if the Battalion are playing Game 7, we will be broadcasting Game 4 of the Powassan Timmins series. Again, another 6:50 start with puck drop being shortly after 7. So the Battalion win Game 5, 6-0. They have a 3-2 series lead with a chance on Sunday to clinch. For everybody here, for Courtney Kenny, Derek Lindemann, and our producer Ben Long, I'm Ben Sargent saying thank you for joining us on your long weekend and hope you have a great night. And as always, keep your eye on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.